Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to sunny Florida. We're just outside the city of Fort Lauderdale, and as you can see there, the anthems have just been sung. You're joining us for this historic series, the Dafabet USA versus Ireland Men's International Series 2021, the first time that the United States of America have faced a full member, a test nation on home soil. About 25 minutes ago, we had the coin toss. I was out with the two captains. Let's go and find out what happened. Get out of that, that's the second commentator chair. No audio on recorded toss, they're saying that. No audio. Do you want me to talk over the audio? Do you want me to talk now on this? Is this live? Yeah, talk. So yeah, that was hearing from Andy Balbirnie down at the toss. He was informing me of his side and several changes to that Irish side from what was a bit of a disastrous T20 World Cup campaign for them. They did not make the Super 12 stages. The only test nation competing at that T20 World Cup that didn't get through, beaten by Namibia in what was a low-scoring affair in Sharjah. A nervy chase for the African nation, but David Visa got them over the line, and that sparked a real bit of a review and a little bit of carnage back in Ireland in terms of working out what the future is, and the future has been some changes to the teams. And we're back live now, and you can see here also some big changes for USA. So we're going to run you through the sides, maybe just coming up in a moment. A man who wasn't even in the initial squad is going to be opening the batting. That's Ryan Scott, the dynamic left-hander. 2 centuries for him in the inaugural season of minor league cricket, and you're very welcome along to the coverage here at the Central Broward Stadium. It's going to be Madank Patel, the American captain. He's going to be facing up to Barry McCarthy. You can see the Irish fans are in the background. The tricolour is flying, and it really is a moment of history you're witnessing. And we have had a few little audio issues to start with, but you are hearing me loud and clear live. You're very welcome along to the coverage. Andrew Leonard here with you now for this Dafabet USA versus Ireland Men's International Series. And Barry McCarthy, who did not get into the final 15 for Ireland for that T20 World Cup, he is recalled and he's going to open the bowling. Craig Young back home with some COVID issues. Let's take a look at the two squads. Here they are, 4 debutants for Team USA. Ryan Scott, like I said, was not even in the initial squad. Neither was Yasir Mohammed nor Ritwik Behra. The 2 youngsters are in and they've received their debut caps. And so is Marty Kane. What a story for him, all the way from domestic cricket in New Zealand. He's married an American woman and come over here to America, spending his time surfing on the West Coast in San Diego. There's the Irish side. A young Irish side will see Paul Sterling, the pick of those batters, but a new role for Lorcan Tucker in the side, the Leinster Lightning wicket-keeper batter. He is going to bat at number 3, Andrew Balbirnie told me at the toss, and here we go. Let's get ready for history. 5 matches here in Florida. McCarthy to Patel. And it's going to be runs immediately. Nicely worked off his legs, and just half a stop from big William McClintock there at fine leg. Patel scampers back for the second, and USA off to a nice start. McCarthy just erring in line immediately. You're very welcome along to our coverage here. We're going to be bringing you every single ball of all 5 internationals. We have 2 T20 internationals today and tomorrow. Today is a day game with a 2 p.m. local start, but the weather is perfect. Sometimes the weather gods, they do you a favour. And we deserved it here. Here comes McCarthy. Edged and taken. McCarthy strikes with his second ball. That's a much better length from him. Patel trying to force it off the back foot. The bat may be coming down at a slight angle as well. And it's a thick outside edge. The Pembroke Cricket Club and Leinster Lightning combination of McCarthy and Tucker. They strike. That's the first wicket falling. And Ireland are up and a buzz to get things going. Not sure it was a shot that Patel will look back on with particular satisfaction. Try and bring you the replay of that now. It was just back of a length, wasn't it? Too full from McCarthy to start with, and we'll see here on the replay, definitely McCarthy. Back of a length, dug in. Really good bounce from McCarthy through to Tucker, who takes a sharp catch across to his right. So Patel is gone for 2 from 2 balls. The score in the first over, it's 2 for 1. So welcome back, and Xavier Marshall, it's going to be in at number 3 for USA. Disastrous start for the home side. After a pleasing clip off his legs for a couple, McCarthy got his line and his length, more importantly, right, just back of a length from McCarthy. It was a thick edge, and it's gone sharply across to his right. And here comes Marshall, 23 on his back. And finally, I've got some company in the commentary box. I've got Peter Della Penna of ESPN Cricket Info coming in to join me. Peter, a real moment of history here for American cricket.
And you could sense the occasion by the fans who were clapping to mark the occasion. It's not often you get noise on home soil for USA, but some fans have traveled in here. I met a gentleman this morning who drove 7.5 hours, Lenny, from Savannah, Georgia, left at 4:30 this morning to get here for this historic occasion.
Good length that from McCarthy. Just worked into the leg side, and it's going to bring Ryan Scott on to strike. Cricket and the times we live in, Peter, at the moment, it's a strange world, isn't it? Ryan Scott, not in the original 14 or 15 man squad, brought in due to the COVID issues that both sides have faced. He's opening the batting.
It's a great country, this land of the USA, Lenny. When you're sitting at home a couple days before Christmas and you get a phone call and get invited to hop on a plane, and before you know it, you're making your debut. And Ryan Scott is doing just that. Plays for the Michigan Cricket Stars and minor league cricket, but he's based in Maryland, lives in Maryland. Came to the USA 7 years ago from Jamaica. Arrived when he was 18 years old. He's now 25. And he's so excited to be here today.
Flayed away, and that's what he does. He loves width on the offside. Peter, 2 centuries for Scott as he gets a maiden international run. 2 centuries in minor league, but it was his strike rate that was the most impressive this year in 2021. Up and around 180. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And he has the respect of the American cricket community, especially his teammates. Ali Khan was the one who presented him his debut cap today, and Ali Khan, in his speech, he said the reason why he wanted to present his cap is because Ryan stood out to him playing on the opposite side of the field in minor league cricket, and told him, I love the way you beat the ball. Beat the ball and keep beating the ball today. That was the message from Ali Khan during the cap ceremony.
Yeah, it's a good message to be giving as well. Manik Patel, the American captain, he looked to me like he just went a little bit hard at that second delivery. Maybe some early nerves, Peter.
He was definitely well away from his body, pushing with hard hands, as you said. And I think it's a shot he definitely would like to have back. It's not one you typically see him play when he's relaxed at the crease.
Down the leg side, thuds into the pad. I think we'll probably see leg byes signalled here by the umpire. We will. So that's going to close out the first over. That's in the books. History has begun here in Florida. USA, they are 5 for 1. So those graphics will just get updated in a moment. Manik Patel obviously opening the batting. We will see Nisarg Patel later in the innings. And I've also had an error with the gloveman. It's not Lorcan Tucker with the gloves behind the stumps. Of course, it's Neil Rock. Lorcan Tucker playing as a batter only back into the starting 11 for US or for Ireland. He's going to bat at number 3, according to Andrew Balbirnie, the Irish captain. And Mark Adair will get things underway. Scott, certainly a precocious talent, Peter. Is he someone who you think might thrive at international level?
Well, this will be the proof of success in the minor league franchise system. You get somebody like him who gets a call-up after impressing the way he did throughout the summer. And talking to him yesterday ahead of his debut, he said his impressive performances caught the attention of people in Jamaica back home where he's originally from, and they wanted him to come back and play for Jamaica. But he said, thanks but no thanks. He said, I love America. I want to play for USA. They're my priority now. They're the country that welcomed me when I was a teenager and has given me an opportunity to make a living and continue my cricket ambitions. And he's demonstrating that faith and that loyalty that USA Cricket is putting him with selection today, and it's a great American success story, Lenny. The American dream right here in Broward County.
He didn't quite get the weight of runs that he would have liked, I think, at the inaugural USA Cricket Run National Championships there in Texas last month, but there was just a few cameos, a few 20s and 30s where you looked at him and thought, there's something about this man. He certainly has a little bit of X factor about him.
We definitely got some starts in the 50-over tournament in Texas. And even though he didn't convert those starts to get a call in for the 50-over squad, he showed there, like he showed throughout the summer, what makes him such a promising talent on the T20 side of things. And that explosiveness, a 30 or a 40 in T20 cricket is a hell of a lot more valuable and really can set a good platform.
Marshall just working that into the leg side again. Marshall returned to that USA squad at the ICC Americas Championship in Antigua. 6 wins from 6 matches, but they did not have it all their own way. One in the most extraordinary of circumstances against Canada.
The robbery at dusk at Coolidge. What an epic match that was. An epic ending. One of the heroes from that occasion, Ali Khan in the 11 today.
Tighter line this time from Adair, and Scott doesn't get that width that he wants to work with, but he does work it into the leg side for a single. Yeah, for those watching on who might not know what we're discussing, a remarkable game of T20I cricket between the old rivals, the oldest international rivals, USA and Canada. 2 to win off the final delivery. Ali Khan on strike, a big swing and a miss. Sorry, 3 to win, 2 to tie, correct. And the big swing and a miss went through to the keeper, who then ran it back to the stumps. And Canada thought they had won the game, but it wasn't a run out. Misfield from McCarthy's going to allow the single. We will get to the end of the second over. The score USA 10 for 1. And going back to that USA-Canada game just about a month ago in Antigua. So 2 to tie, 3 to win. Swing and a miss. The Canadian keepers run the ball up to the wickets, broken the stumps, and thought that he had ran out Rusty Theron, who was running through for the single, but then also flung the ball away in celebration. The decision from the square leg umpire was not out, and Theron showed the presence of mind to scream at Ali Khan to run back for a scrambled second bye, which sent it to the super over.
And the unsung hero on that occasion, you could argue, is Leslie Reefer Jr. By not ruling the ball dead, won the stump. Just getting bogged down. He had a tendency to allow pressure to build, and those tight lines bowled by McCarthy, you could argue an assist goes to Mark Adair for that wicket because they kept it tight, they put the pressure on, and Xavier Marshall trying to play a release shot, coming down the wicket, and doesn't get to the pitch at seam movement, jagging back in, and it knocks back the top of middle and leg stump.
Yeah, here's the dismissal. Did try to get some momentum into his stroke coming down the track. You could see he was looking to get a little bit of positive movement, but never got near the pitch of the ball. It's middle stump, in fact, the top of middle. And there was definitely just a little bit of inward movement from McCarthy. He points at the top of the bails. That's where it's gone. And Ireland have their second. There's other issues right now. the feed's fully down on Willow. Needs to be checked. Young Ritwik Behra in at number 4 for USA. McCarthy strays down the leg side. That will be signalled wide. Tell us about young Ritwik Behra. Again, one of this talented crop of under-19s coming through the American system.
18 years of age, born and raised in Maryland. He's been quite active in the youth academy scene. He's a graduate most recently of the Sunny Sohal Cricket Academy, former IPL player and also former USA national team player, who resides in Maryland and has been responsible for developing young talent in the Mid-Atlantic. Ritwik has also done some academy work in New Jersey, I believe, with Lalta Prasad at Indoor Cricket USA. And if people recognize that name, it's because he's the father of Ryan Prasad, who's a former USA Under-19 player and also Jamaica Talwa's squad member. As you can see, Barry McCarthy trying to get some work done on his shoes, his spikes.
McCarthy was one of several of the Irish players who had some issues with COVID, both himself and George Dockrell going down about 2.5 weeks ago, but managed to get through his mandatory 10 days. Really has been problems for both sides. 5 or 6 players in both of the squads having difficulties and being either ruled out of action or coming in a little bit delayed, and Ireland had to send out the SOS call to Josh Little, their express left arm seamer, to come back from the Sri Lanka Premier League.
Saw Barry at training on Monday and yesterday. He looked fit. He looked like he was fully recovered. George Dockrell was not at training on Monday, but was out there yesterday, his first day back with the squad. So everybody getting back 100% healthy again just in time.
Watchful from Behra, yet to get off the mark on his maiden T20I appearance. Get to the end of the third over. The score 11 for 2. Yeah, what a return to Irish colours for Barry McCarthy. He's a bit of a fan favourite, McCarthy, and I think many of the Irish fans can't understand why he's so often left out of the side. And I think he's been dropped maybe 15 or 16 times through his Irish career. Got a great strike rate in terms of wicket taking, but at times he can be a little expensive.
Does that make him the Irish Michael Kasperovich, or is Michael Kasperovich the Australian Barry McCarthy? In and out of the team that many times. I've always thought very highly of him. First time I saw him was when he played for the Ireland Under-19s against USA way back in the early 2010s. Part of that group that Andy Balbirnie captained in the 2010 T20 World Cup and on to 2011, where George Dockrell was the captain. The Ireland Under-19s, Andy McBride, Paul Sterling. A lot of the players who are now mainstays on the team, they emerged out of the Under-19 squad back at the start of the decade.
You see an early move to spin for Ireland. Just the one over from Mark Adair, their real talisman in T20I cricket in particular. A remarkable strike rate in terms of his wicket-taking ability. And they will go to the off breaks, and the occasional leg breaks of Simi Singh will certainly bowl predominantly off breaks to the left-handed Scot. Strikes him on the pad, probably just outside the line from my first impression here.
When I was watching him at Netsland, he was bowling an awful lot more leg breaks than off breaks, taking a page out of the David Warner playbook, batting right-handed in nets before coming out left-handed on the field of play. Simi was really working hard on that leg break. Could see it come out to Ritwik Behra.
How big is the step up in class for USA here? They're ranked, I think, in and around 30th in the world in T20 international cricket, but they're full of confidence after that tour of Antigua. 6 wins from 6 matches, playing a much higher ranked opposition here in Ireland.
See a single here taken by Scott to mid-on. Well, traditionally in the T20 version of this rivalry, Ireland has dominated. First time they played each other was in the UAE in the 2010 T20 World Cup qualifier, and Niall O'Brien and William Porterfield swept and reverse swept USA to death in that game, put up a mammoth total, and then USA in response was 20 for 7 at one point before Orlando Baker and Aditya Tyagarajan spared USA some embarrassment with an unbeaten 99-run partnership. And then over the years, 2012, 2013, 2015, Ireland has continued to win each of those games in the qualifier, but the margin of victory has gotten smaller and smaller on each occasion. So even though Ireland has gone up in class over the course of time, USA has also closed the gap.
Yeah, certainly from watching the two teams train over the course of the last couple of days, you have to remember USA and their squad that did get here, they were delayed in coming here because of that COVID outbreak in the camp right at the start of the series before things got going. Behera looks for the slog sweep and he's going to perish. He's going to fall for a fourth ball duck. Looks for a big slog sweep, an aggressive shot going across the line, trying to exploit the power play with just two fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. Not going to be a debut that he's going to want to remember. He's gone for 0.
Well, we've got a great angle. Live, it looked like it was sliding down leg, but the umpire, Vijay Malala, felt otherwise. The off spinner looks like at best it might have been shaving leg stump, but Vijay Malala gives him the benefit of the doubt. And Behera, not a debut he'll be putting on his Instagram stories, Lenny.
Yeah, he's gone for none. The USA now 12 for 3. So will be Sushant Madani in down at number 5 for USA. Player of the tournament at the 50-over men's national championships last month in Texas, but he wasn't originally in this T20I squad, and the reason he's come into that squad, the absence of Stephen Taylor and Aaron Jones in particular, probably the two foremost batters in the American lineup. How big a loss is that for USA?
Well, he's far and away USA's all-time leading scorer in T20 cricket. He's also a significant wicket taker for USA in T20 cricket as well, with his off breaks. He's got more than twice as many runs in T20 cricket as the second best scorer on that list for USA. He's the only USA player to score a century in T20 cricket. And I think he's got the 5 or 6 highest individual scores for USA cricket. He's done so much for them in T20 cricket, so it's a massive loss not having Stephen Taylor.
So Singh starts and completes his first over with a wicket. The fans gathered in the crowd behind. The home fans not happy. 4 overs gone. It's 12 for 3. You'd have to think likely we'll see Gajanan Singh in next at number 6, and certainly plenty of batting still to come. Marty Kane maybe at 7.
So an awful lot of all-rounders in there. I could even see Yasser Muhammad, who loves to sweep and reverse sweep as a left-hander, coming in around 7 or 8. Marty Kane, though, would be my option. He really stood out in the 50-over championships, and with USA in the deep hole that they're in, if another wicket falls, he would be the guy who you'd want to stretch this match out and really build a bridge until they can get to that 15th, 16th over, and perhaps somebody like Nisarg Patel is a bit more explosive with his power hitting towards the end of the innings.
They're going to continue with McCarthy, and we're finally going to see a boundary. Big cheers from the crowd across to our right, and the home side finally have something to cheer. Nice shot from Ryan Scott. Poor Ryan Scott on his T20I debut even. He's been just watching wickets fall at the far end. 2 full from McCarthy. Played down the ground, a nice shot for 4.
When I was talking to him yesterday, I asked him if his family was coming down. He said no, because his wife is at home pregnant, expecting, but she'll be loving this, watching the broadcast. Ryan doing USA proud with an on drive.
And it's going to be potentially 4 and out. It is. He's picked out the one man outside the circle on the leg side. It was a convincing strike, but McCarthy's going to have his third. This time it is the old Pembroke Cricket Club and Leinster Lightning combination of McCarthy and Tucker. Tucker doesn't have the gloves on behind the stumps today. Neil Rock does, but that's a simple catch for him. So 4 and out. Scott falls. USA, they're in real trouble now.
Well, it's just a lack of awareness, knowing where the two fielders are in the power play on the boundary. And leg stump half volley, he could have hit it anywhere, could have played another on drive like he did the previous delivery, but just a loose flick and flirting with danger with that man stationed at deep square leg. Very easy catch taken by Lorcan Tucker.
So Scott's debut, he showed a little, but he is also now gone. He falls for 8 from 8 deliveries. McCarthy has his third, continues taking wickets like he always does. And it's a long, long way back here for USA now to post something of a competitive total.
They've gone for Gajanan Singh to come out to try and keep the team afloat. 2 lefty options in this situation. Marty Kane also lefty. A lot is going to depend on them if USA is going to really make a competitive total here. Only innings he played in Antigua at the ICC Americas T20 World Cup qualifier. Player of the match performance, scoring a half century in a win over Argentina. Big step up in class, though, between Argentina and Ireland, Lenny.
It certainly is, but for me, I felt Gajanan Singh, maybe not just the pick of the batters over the course of the last 2 or 3 months, not just at the Men's National Championships, but also in terms of that innings of 50 not out at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium there in Antigua against Argentina, and his 48 on the final match of the Tour of Oman. He's 34 years of age now, a very experienced man, originally from Guyana, but he sacrificed a huge amount to chase his dreams here in America. I think he's going to be the key linchpin in this middle order, and he gets underway. A lovely shot, a lot more time at the crease, you can immediately see, and the crowd up on the bank, they love it. The cheers are coming in. That's the second boundary, not just of the over, but also of the innings.
Not too much width there from McCarthy, but Gajanan leans back to create room to access the offside and just in front of backward point before bouncing away to the rope. Good outfield here. At times it can be a little bit slow, but there's been an awful lot of cricket played recently to keep the field in shape, and it carries all the way to the boundary.
Going to be more runs. McCarthy down the leg side this time. Not sure that will necessarily have the pace to get to the rope. It won't. It's going to be a couple. We will wait for the signal. Given his runs. Seeing he's power-packed hitter, but he usually takes a little while to get going at the start before unveiling those strikes, particularly the slog sweep into the leg side that he favours.
Definitely something he'll be looking to pull out against Simi Singh or any of the other Irish spinners.
Nice shot into the offside, and a diving stop from Adair will keep it to just a single. So a wicket again for McCarthy, but 9 runs, in fact 11 runs coming from that over. We get to the end of the 5th. USA now 23 for 4. Let's take a look at the USA starting lineup again. America seem to be backing youth with the absences, the enforced absences, and the replacement players that have been coming in. The likes of the youngster Yasir Mohammed and Ritwik Behera, born and bred and produced here in America.
Yasir Mohammed has done a lot of his academy work at Crickmax, I believe, in New Jersey, and Ritwik, Indoor Cricket USA, Sunny Sohal Cricket Academy. exciting to see young talent given an opportunity. 2 teenagers making their debuts today for USA, and possibly some more teenage debuts to come later on this week.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you about one of those maybe after this over, but a young 17-year-old, Rahul Jarawala, the talk of American cricket, 17 years of age, the leading run scorer at the men's national championships. How good a cricketer and how much potential does he have? He's not in the T20I squad due to some exams that he has to sit, but he will be here for the ODIs straight after Christmas.
Well, oftentimes some quality talent, athletic talent, gets lost to other sports. Rahul Jarawala, born and raised in Fremont, California, but his first love was baseball. Plays varsity baseball for the Irvington High School baseball team out in the Fremont area, but cricket has drawn him in.
Nicely punched down the ground. And Gajanan Singh and Simi Singh, the two Singhs, get themselves in a bit of a tangle at the non-striker's end. I think Simi's come off the worst of that. Don't think he'd want to get into a scrap with Gajanan Singh. He's strong and he's stocky, isn't he?
He could work as a bouncer if he wanted, Lenny. But in the past, we've seen a player like Karan Patel, former USA Under-19 player, decided to stick with baseball, became an all-conference pitcher in Texas during his NCAA career, and then was drafted by the Chicago White Sox. So at times there are examples of second-generation South Asian Americans. It's not a foregone conclusion that if they're playing both cricket and baseball that they're going to stick with cricket. USA lost Karan Patel to baseball, but they've kept Rahul Jarawala in the fold.
And all of a sudden, finally for USA, something of a partnership building. These two look more comfortable at the crease. What do you put those early wickets down to? There must have been a huge amount of nerves in the American camp.
I'd say nerves on that first wicket to Monank Patel, but got to give credit where it's due to Barry McCarthy. Very tight lines, putting the pressure on. And as some of my West Indian friends are fond of saying, pressure bust pipe.
Yeah, for those watching on who has no idea what Peter De La Pena is going on about there, I think what he was saying was pressure busts pipes. And pressure not for tyres, of course, but certainly that pressure told on Monank Patel, the Team USA captain. It has been less than ideal preparation. We get to the end of the 6th over, the score 26 for 4. How difficult has it been for this American side? Just 2 training sessions before this first T20 International, the first of 5 matches between the two sides across the both formats. And those players who weren't struggling with the COVID issues here, a decision was made to bring them in that little bit later to protect them and make sure the series could go ahead.
Well, even though they didn't get to train together much as a team, a lot of these guys have been playing cricket in the build-up. The U.S. Open T20 tournament that was held here in Lauderhill. A lot of the guys were playing in that mini franchise event, and even some of the Irish players. Gareth Delaney had a fantastic tournament until he tested positive. And Harry Tector as well was participating in that event, and most, if not all, the USA guys were there, with the exception of Marty Kane, who had to attend a family wedding on his wife's side of the family. His wife is American, originally from Missouri.
Going to have a change in bowling from the pavilion end of the Broward County Stadium. Curtis Camphor, the man who took 4 and 4 at the T20 World Cup, into the attack. With his medium pace, tends to get it very full and straight and a mix-up. Sushant Madani turned his back on Gajanan Singh. And if McCarthy could have picked up cleanly, that could have been a run-out chance.
Again, the pressure there, telling on USA. Gajanan was looking for that tip-and-run single, and Sushant Madani was ball-watching. I think if Gajanan felt there was a run there, then there definitely was a run there, because he's the slower of the two running between the wickets. He wanted that run, but Sushant Madani not really supporting his partner there, and the pressure continues to build.
That 4 wickets in 4 balls for Camphor came at that T20 World Cup, but the T20 World Cup campaign for Ireland after a huge win over the Netherlands in the opening game, and then reducing Sri Lanka to 8 for 3. Everything after that seemed to go completely wrong for the Irish. Heavy defeat to Sri Lanka, and then really they were comfortably beaten in the end by Namibia, despite the flying start from Paul Sterling and Kevin O'Brien.
Coming here to Florida, an opportunity to get the bitter taste out of their mouth. And what better place to do it in the sun.
And I think that's something that the captain Andy Balbirnie said yesterday at the pre-series press conference. He said Ireland's going through a tough time back home, like many parts of the world. The COVID restrictions are back in place in a big way. I think there's a curfew with the shops closing at 6 or 8 p.m. back home. And he said where else would he rather be than in the sunshine in Florida playing cricket, international cricket against the United States.
Or as it happens on some of the off days, I think there might be some golf lined up as well, Lenny.
Yeah, the whole series is being played in what is described as a COVID-managed environment. So all of the players tested regularly. Masks almost everywhere. But it's not a hard bubble, so they are able to get out and about, eat outdoors. And I think that's been a great relief to everyone. You've got to remember the first ever series here played on American soil over Christmas, and as Andy Balbirnie said, the Irish captain, the first time Ireland have had the experience of a Boxing Day match. Not quite the Boxing Day test match down at the MCG or Cape Town in South Africa, but it's going to be here in Florida. That's the first ODI on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas. Nicely picked up into the leg side. That's going to close out Camphor's first over. USA just trying to rebuild. The score 29 for 4. I'll bid farewell to Peter Della Penna for the moment. We'll have the first change in commentary. I'll stay with you. Bring in Aman Patel, who's going to come in and join me. Aman has travelled down from North Carolina, one of the real hubs of American cricket. Aman, it was an early flight, an early start for you, I know. Delighted to be here, and hopefully you've enjoyed the first 7 overs so far.
Yeah, early morning, but it's great to be out here. The sun is shining, cricket's out, and what better way to spend your day, right? Watching cricket in the Sunshine State. Yeah,
nothing quite better. Aman, you're there in North Carolina. Maybe describe to our viewers around the world. That is turning into one of the real hubs of the game here in the United States.
Absolutely. North Carolina has the Church Street Park, which is a world-class facility, ICC approved, and they are now building a stadium out there. It hosted the inaugural Minor League Cricket Championship Finals, and now works have been put in to put a stadium with the kind of commentary boxes we see here at the Broward County Central Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. So it's becoming one of the biggest venues for cricket in all across the United States. We had over 3,000 people at the inaugural Minor League Cricket Championship, so it was an absolute amazing weekend, and it's packed, it's electric, and the community is just vibrant, and we all love cricket up there.
Yeah, and those fans love cricket. Nice to see the Irish fans in, and the American fans coming in. Big crowd expected for tomorrow evening, as we see Ben White brought into the attack for the first time, the young leg spinner who's had a bit of a meteoric rise through the channels of Irish cricket. Man, it's not been a good start for America. How can they rebuild from here?
Well, I think this is the key partnership here. We talk about Singh and Modani as two of the more experienced guys in terms of what you have left. Marty Kane hasn't really seen USA cricket. And then you talk about Yasser Mohammed, who very youngster coming into the side. So you're going to need these two to really come through in a big way.
Slightly overpitched by White, just worked down the ground. Madani, again, he's really made his name in the longer formats. Not necessarily a big hitter, he's more of an accumulator.
And I think at this stage of their innings, that's exactly what they need. When you talk about the score being 31 for 4 here in the 8th over, if you can just accumulate runs and not lose wickets and hold on to some of these bigger hitters for later on in the innings, T20 is a funny game. Things can change very quickly.
Cut away, that's going to be runs, and nicely placed. A lot of work for McCarthy in the deep, and he does it very well. He's going to keep it to just a couple. That's 2 runs saved in the fielding account balance. Probably the fittest fielder And the fittest cricketer in that Irish setup, he might have made 30-40 yards around to his right there.
It definitely looked like a certain boundary from our view here, but he did a great job running all the way across. Kind of looked like Usain Bolt the way he was moving across the field.
Try to give me a sense of just how big an occasion this is for American cricket, man.
I think we've really seen a come up of USA cricket in the previous couple of years. We talk about how we haven't really heard about cricket, and now a lot of my friends who don't even know what it is, they're talking to me about cricket, about this event.
Big swing and a miss this time from Singh outside the off stump. He's not a big turner of the ball, White, but he's always at you. Tends to rely predominantly on his drift and the angles with which he works. Dragged down this time. Singh will be disappointed to miss out. What about the fancy eyewear? What do you reckon of those sunglasses that Ben White's sporting there?
I might need to get me a pair of those. It's a nice sunny day out here in Florida, and while I'm down here, I might need to go snag me one of those.
I wonder, are they a specific purchase from Ben White just for this trip? There he is, trotting down to fine leg. It's a varied attack, though, that Ireland have, and to be able to bring in that leg spinner into their side. Simi Singh, probably their most consistent spinner over the last 3 or 4 years, particularly in ODI cricket, but the addition of a leg spinner, and that's something that America have gone for in the shape of Yasir Mohammed as well. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Yasir, he's a great cricketer. I've played a lot of cricket with him over some youth tournaments, and he originally started out as a pace bowler, so he's really worked on his variations, and it's come through in a big way for him. You see him now bowling the googlies and having a lot more confidence, letting the ball turn, rather than when he started was more of a guy who just pushed in with a lot of pace and just came with a couple steps and was a leg spinner, but he was a two-step pace bowler. You've seen a real big progress from him.
Again, probably not a big turner of the ball. You're not thinking about a Shane Warne or a Yashir Shah. You're talking about somebody who relies a little bit more on guile and maybe the lack of turn to get their wickets.
Yeah, absolutely. And at least now he has the ability to turn at least a smidge this way and that way. And as you said, the lack of turn can create the wicket. You're expecting the ball to turn, and it comes on a little bit quicker because, again, his background as a pace bowler, in which he started his career here in the United States. So that can be a very good watch for the USA as they come into bowl what looks to be a small total.
Yeah, and you can see that run rate just hovering around 4 and over. USA are going to need to get that moving, going to have to try and start finding the rope, maybe start clearing the rope. They are big boundaries here. It's almost the perfect oval that you would want for a cricket match. But Singh, to me, looks like he's just going to try and accumulate, get into the 20s and 30s, and we know he possesses the firepower to go very big late in the innings. A couple of his knocks, particularly at the men's national championships, showed that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what he's going to be banking on here as, again, they need to establish some sort of runs to have in the bank as you go into the final 5 overs here, as you round out through these middle stages. Just continue to accumulate, don't lose wickets, and then go big towards the end.
Camphor, though, just keeping things tight, bowling stump to stump. No great pace. Probably the quickest bowler we'll see on show here will be Ali Khan today. Lovely to see the fans in on the banks, and I think that's a few of the Irish wives and girlfriends and family members. A little bit different to Dublin, Ireland, or Belfast, Northern Ireland right now in Florida. 25, 26 degrees centigrade, or for those watching on in America, up and around 80 degrees Fahrenheit right now. And that's a lovely shot, real half volley, but again McCarthy is going to keep it to just a couple out at extra cover.
Yeah, and I think that's got to be real frustrating for these U.S. batsmen. They're hitting good shots. They're finally going to start some rhythm. They're attacking the loose balls. And then you have McCarthy just running around like a madman, able to stop everything going on there to that one side of the ground. It's just got to be demoralizing for these batsmen trying to make something happen.
McCarthy running around like a madman. I think that's a pretty good description. He's so fit and agile. You'll love that. Slower ball this time. I think it was a cutter from Curtis Camphor. No doubt, Aman, I know how much you love cricket. You were watching a lot of the T20 World Cup. Camphor 4 in 4, but that was the high point for Ireland. From there, it was really all downhill. A disappointing campaign for them in the Middle East.
Absolutely. And the way you started, you never would have thought it would have ended the way it did. And I think for them now, it's about regrouping, rebounding, and see what kind of team they are, see what kind of morale they can bring into Florida in this historic matches that we do have these 5 days. So I think for them, it's just about regrouping and rebounding from a disappointing World Cup.
No ball signalled, and it's going to be not just at least a couple of runs down the ground. It's going to be a free hit. Adair with the fancy footwork will stay just inside the rope. But maybe this is just exactly what USA need to get going. Camphor's looking down at his footmark saying, how have I overstepped? It doesn't matter how he's done it. All that matters is what the umpire's signalling. It's going to be a free hit.
And like you said, this could be the break that the USA need, just one that they can throw their hands at. But the Irish, they've been very tight. They haven't given them much. So you're going to see some kind of innovation here from Singh.
And critically, the field can't change because the same batter's on strike. So no one's out at long on or indeed cow corner. Almost a free hit into the leg side. Well, in fact, it is a free hit. And that's where he's going to target. But good bowling from Camphor. He's just rushed Singh. And he's managed to keep it to just a single. So we'll get to the end of the 9th over. USA just starting to rebuild a touch. It's 42 for 4. So Ben White's going to continue from the far end of the ground here at the Broward County Stadium in Florida in the southeast, not far from Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful corner of the world. I know you've come down on a flight, about a 2-hour flight, isn't it, from Raleigh, North Durham, Carolina. But this is a special ground in a special part of America.
Definitely is one of the finest stadiums, if not the stadium here in the United States.
The development and the progress for American cricket seems to really have escalated hugely in the last 2 or 3 years, particularly this year, a historic year. 4 national championships, one under 19 men's, one under 19 women's, and then the first 2 senior national championships. The women's, both of those events were held here at this ground. The under-19s men's held in Texas back in April, and the men's seniors in November in Texas. That alongside the advent of minor league cricket with over 200 T20 matches played between 27 sides a man, that can't help but continue to grow American cricket.
And I think the big part about it is now you're seeing it. There was cricket in the United States, but you didn't see it. Now you see these live streams and you see these players get national recognition, and that's the beautiful part, the pathway being built in the United States.
Down the leg side, going to be free runs here, and a tardy piece of glove work from Rock. It's not a boundary off the bat, but USA won't mind that. That's 5 freebies, 5 more to the total. Singh and Madani's partnership starting to drag things back for the home side.
Yeah, just straying down the leg side. The wicketkeeper not really paying his full attention there. And again, freebies, runs that the U.S. desperately need to get themselves back into this and give their bowlers something to bowl at.
Here's a good close-up look at that fancy eyewear. The fluorescent yellow, almost matching the fluorescent green of the Irish T20 strip. Back on the money. Singh, to me, looks like he's been the batter with by far the most time so far.
And again, I think that comes with experience. We talked about the debutants who are here, and Ryan Scott and Ritvik Behera, who have just come into the side and haven't really faced this caliber of cricket. Now you see a guy who has experience in Singh. He's able to really deal with it well. And I think that's just the difference in the bridge that these guys are going to have to climb over if the U.S. want to be really competitive here in this series and in the future.
Nicely bowled this time. Just beats Madani outside the off stump. Ireland continue to attack. The slip still in place. That's Paul Stirling. I think many of even the home fans are going to look forward to seeing the big hitting Stirling bat in the chase. We'll probably see him open with his old roommate, his old teammate from Middlesex as well, Andrew Balbirnie. Shorter this time and pulled straight out to Andrew Balbirnie. And for those who weren't able to be here to watch a bit of the training, I can assure that Paul Stirling, I reckon he hit in and around 156s during his training session just yesterday alone.
Well, what's the homage? Everything's bigger in America. Well, it seems like these sixes are going to be bigger as well. As you see these birds up here, they're ready to get some balls hit to them.
Yeah, they could be sent scattering when Sterling gets to the crease. Better from White to close out. But those 5 wides have brought USA up and past the 50 mark. It's the halfway stage of the first innings of 5 internationals in this Staffabet USA versus Ireland Men's International Series 2021. The score 51 for 4. So great to hear messages coming in across social media and hearing from the fans watching back in Ireland. And indeed, you can watch all the way around the world, wherever you're located. If you're here in North America, you'll be watching on Willow TV. If you're in the Indian subcontinent, you'll be watching on Fan Code. In the Caribbean, on Sportsmax Cricket. Hello to all our Caribbean viewers. Back in Europe and the UK, you'll either be on Free Sports or Premier Sports 1, I believe, today. And in the rest of the world, get onto YouTube and just type in Willow TV, that is, and you'll be able to watch the live coverage there. You're very welcome along. Andrew Leonard here in the commentary box as we see Mark Adair return from the pavilion end for his second over. That's a lovely drive from Madani. You get a sense of exactly what Madani's all about. Technically correct cricket shots. He'll really enjoy the ODI series, those 3 games starting December 26th.
And you saw it right there, as you said, the technically correct cricket shots, and we're starting to see those come out. And again, I think that's confidence coming from the USA cricketers. You go back to your basics whenever things aren't going right, and these two have very sound basics, and it's something the US can look to rebuild with. This is the key here. This is the partnership, and if Ireland want to really put the nail in the coffin, they got to break this one here.
Yeah, Marty Kane's been on his feet down in front of us to our right at the USA bench, the 33-year-old. Did play first-class cricket there in New Zealand, and you might have seen a few of the interviews he's given in the build-up to this series. He said he'd never anticipated coming back to cricket. He thought he might do a bit of coaching and a bit of surfing there in San Diego, but it was the minor league and the inaugural minor league this season that gave him a sense that maybe he still had a chance, a second chance. It's meant the absolute world to him and his family, and he's making his international debut today. They're going to come round the wicket to the left-handed Singh. I think that one's just thudded into the pad, so it'll be a leg by. And Aman, I know you commentated on a lot of the minor league this summer. You might have seen a bit of Marty Kane. He's got a rather extraordinary bowling action as well.
Definitely does, and I think all the viewers are going to be wanting to see that one. It's a spectacle to see, and I think a lot of these USA bowlers, even Saurabh Netravalkar, who maybe looks more conventional, he definitely is a little bit different when you see the way he runs up and the pace in which he delivers that ball as well.
Yeah, there's the big screen at the stadium. I'm pretty sure that scorecard is entirely wrong right now, so we'll rely on our graphics, which are saying 53 for 4. Might have to have a word with whoever's running that scoreboard up there. Don't think it's 44 for 4. It's 53 for 4 right now. We're agreeing with Cricinfo, so our production team are getting it right now. Nicely worked down behind square on the offside. How would you describe Marty Kane's bowling action? Paul Adams, the left-arm wrist spinner from South Africa, was famously described as a frog in a blender. Is it something similar to that?
I don't know if I have the words to describe Marty Kane's action. I don't think words do it justice. Again, it's just a sight. Maybe another wonder of the world when you see Marty Kane. It's definitely unconventional. That's definitely the first word that comes to mind. But again, stay tuned for that because that is definitely a sight to see.
Dug into the wicket, but dug in as a slower ball. And Adair will generally in T20 internationals maybe bowl 3, 4, even 5 slower balls per over. And it's given great success to him. He's taken a lot of wickets for Ireland in the shortest format, and he does it with a real flair and a real panache.
Yeah, I think T20 cricket is all about the variations. I think that's what it's come to. The faster it comes, usually the faster it goes. So for these bowlers to develop these variations, the slower balls, the cutters, it just proves also vital and why he's had a lot of success for Ireland.
There's our co-commentator, Peter Della Penna, multitasking today, getting all those brilliant photos you'll see up on the USA and Cricket Ireland social media handles later in the day, and he'll be back in the box with me shortly. Mark Adair took his 50th T20I wicket there at the T20 World Cup. That's come in just 29 internationals. An economy rate under 7 and an average of 14. That's outstanding numbers from the man from Northern Ireland.
And it absolutely is brilliant numbers. And again, in T20 cricket, when you talk about economies of 8, 9, people are very good with. When you talk about this and talk about what he's done and the number of matches to get 29 matches, I believe he said, for 50 wickets. Unbelievable stuff here from Adair. And that's going to do it. 11 overs gone, 56 runs on the board for 4 wickets.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the batting card if we can, and just bring that up on your screens in a moment or two. This partnership between Singh and Madani certainly helping to rebuild things for what would have been a bit of a dramatic start. 2 runs off the first delivery, but then Madank Patel fell from just the second delivery of the match. Were you surprised to see Madank Patel deciding to bat first, even though it's a very good batting wicket? Do you think with all the trials and tribulations and the dramas through the players he was missing from COVID, would he have been better to just get his 11 fielders out into the field, get rid of those early nerves?
I think he trusts his bowling a lot more, and so that's why I think theoretically you think, okay, we're going to bowl second because we think that's our strongest point. But to your point, get the nerves out the way, go bowl first, and then let your batsman have a little bit more confidence coming into the middle.
I know it's significantly different conditions here in the United States to that we saw at the T20 World Cup in the Middle East, but certainly there's a huge trend developing of winning the toss and bowling first and allowing your batters to chase. Singh comes back into the attack again. Madani showing the full face of the bat down the ground. Just going to be a single. Good work in the deep. Again, this time it's Shane Getgate. Another one of those power hitters that Ireland possess. It's really him and Paul Sterling who they'll rely upon for the big 6 hits, although it's going to be interesting to see Lorcan Tucker in at number 3.
And again, I think that's what the US's key is. How do you do with those 2 power hitters, right? Who do you bring in? Is it a Yasir Muhammad? Is it going to be a Saurabh Netravalkar with the pace? Where do you go and how do you bowl to those guys? Because I think if you limit them, then you're right back in the equation.
Yeah, and these 2 overs of Simi Singh, you can see why Ireland have turned back to Singh. So economical. Just looking to break this partnership, find a 5th wicket. And I think Gajanan Singh, his named counterpart, and Madani will be happy to just work it around off Singh, and then they're going to start to look to really press the accelerator. They've got to be targeting well in excess of 120, 130 here, surely.
That's got to be the idea in hand, 120, 130, and again, they're just looking to build up that partnership and then go ham later on.
That one dragged down a bit, but spinners in T20I cricket, once the power play is done, they get the protection. And all those fielders in the deep on the leg side for Madani. No harm done, just the single. USA have struggled to find the boundary really with any consistency at the moment. But Singh is going to try and do that. I told you earlier about the slog sweep. We're going to have the first maximum. Look at the American crowd. That's what they're here for. They're dancing up there. It's not a home run. It's a 6. It's a maximum. The first of the Dafabet USA versus Ireland Men's International Series. A brilliant strike from Gajanan Singh.
And what a way to energize a crowd that's been seeing a lot of disappointing. It's a disappointing start for them, but there we go. We got the crowd. They're loving that big 6 there. And Gajanan Singh getting it going for the United States.
Yeah, Singh says to his counterpart Singh, I'm not going to play you out. I'm going to ponga you out of the ground. That's a big strike. And we're just getting an indication of how good a batting surface that it is here. Not going to try and repeat the dose and just work it into the offside for a single. Not too sure what Simi Singh is appealing for there, man.
It definitely came back in a little bit, and there was a gap between bat and pad. I'm not sure if he thought it got the pad, and you can see the conversation between the 2 Singhs there. He's like, what are you talking about? And Simi Singh walks off with a smile.
Yeah, loving the conversation in the background as well. It's pretty clearly one person explaining to the other how the sport works right there. That's what this series is all about, giving a chance at exposure to to new faces to watch the sport live. International cricket at its best. 12 gone. The USA getting back into the game. It's 67 for 4. So the bowlers used so far for Ireland: McCarthy, the most impactful, 3 wickets in his 3 overs thus far. Camphor's kept it tight alongside Ben White. But USA will starting to be thinking that, hold on, 6 wickets in hand. Gajanan Singh in particular has looked really good. Can they get up to 130, 140? Could they dream of 150 still from here?
Again, it's this partnership. This is the key. Gajanan Singh and Modani. I think those two have to come in because they've played a lot of deliveries so far. They both feel like they're in a groove. You can see the technical shots out there, and now you see the big hitting come out in the last over. These are the 2 partnerships to go.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. Technically correct again from Madani. Just plugs in the outfield a little though, so he'll only get... In fact, he's going to get back for a third. Brilliant fitness from him to take on the arm of Simi Singh. Mid-off up in the circle. That's why he's taken the elevated route. In fact, it's only a couple. I thought it was a third, but Madani gets back for 2. Good strike into the offside.
Yeah, and as you said, it plugged up a little bit as it hit the ground, and you can see from Modani as he's running, he started to slow up and then realized, oh crap, I got to get back because this isn't going all the way to the boundary.
Aerial route through the offside again, just going to be a single. McCarthy's out there. One very notable thing is that the fielders, particularly in the deep on the offside, they're nowhere near the full rope, so any of the chances for 2s is really being cut off by those fielders. 10, 15, maybe even 20 yards off the rope.
I think that's smart from Ireland as well. They've seen, okay, they haven't hit boundaries with any consistency. If you want to go over me, but this is an opportunity where I can take a wicket here at 45 and I don't allow you to get these easy 1s and 2s out there.
Down the leg side and picked up, and that's going to go all the way, well over the head of the fine leg fielder. Gajanan Singh really showing his class. He moves into the 30s, and all of a sudden USA starting to roll.
And Gajanan Singh starting to roll as well. He's starting to feel it. A nice pickup shot there, maybe just a tad bit short on that occasion, not quick enough, and just stayed on the back foot, hung on, picked it up nicely over fine leg, and makes it another maximum for himself.
Down the leg side, that'll be signalled wide, and all of a sudden pressure on the Irish bowlers, and really it's the first time 13 overs into the game that you sense any pressure on any of the Irish bowlers.
And you hit it right on the head. The first sense of pressure here for the Irish. How do they react to it? Because now this is the key man. Singh, can you get him?
Hit over the offside. That is an absolutely extraordinary shot off the back foot. He has hit it over long off. Mid-off is up in the circle. I can't believe that's gone all the way for the maximum. That's one of the best shots you would ever want to see at any level. 6 more to Singh.
And when you see that shot, it didn't even look like it came off the middle of the bat, but it had to have the amount of distance it cleared the boundary on. The fans, they're starting to love it. And again, look at this here, just hanging on the back foot. And just lifts it over the top of long off. Not a shot you can even describe. Class here from Gajanan Singh.
Now through the offside along the ground. I think that last shot, definitely the shot of the innings so far, but also an indicator of just how good a batting wicket this is. And I think Singh is going, hold on, I know Ireland have Paul Sterling, I know they've got Andrew Balbirnie, they've got a seriously power-packed lineup. We don't need 130, 140, we need 150, 160 plus.
And it seems as if he's starting to trust the bounce as well. He's got a feel for it, and he's just hanging on the back foot, waiting for the ball to be a fraction short.
That's a nice shot through the offside this time, and a misfield is going to cost Ireland runs. And I think critically, well, I thought it was going to get Gajanan Singh back onto strike, but he's going to run a third. He's happy to keep his partner on strike. 3 more to the total, the most expensive over of the innings so far. Ireland look a little rattled. The home fans are getting into it. It's 87 for 4. Yeah, messages coming in to me from back in Ireland. What was that shot? Very hard to describe. Gajanan Singh, he's got 41 from just 32 deliveries. You won't meet a nicer man around American cricket than Gajanan Singh. And he's been encouraged hugely by his family to give cricket one last serious shot. He sacrificed a huge amount. Tragically, he lost his father as well just a couple of months ago. In fact, he was on the pitch batting in Oman whilst he was there when the news came through. He found out when he came off the pitch. So no doubt this is a very special moment for him to get to play against a test nation like Ireland, and he's really shining on the big stage.
Absolutely is. And again, 41 off 32, you're thinking about how did he get to 41? We see the last 3 sixes from him, 18 runs there. And then other than that, you're thinking, man, it's not possible for him to get 41. And that's the beauty of his innings. He's just stroking it around and now starting to get big.
Worked down the ground by Madani, and that's clever cricket because he's the right-handed batter who's facing the leg spinner turning the ball away from him, and he's going to say, I'm going to get my partner onto strike who's looking so good and let him unfurl this big slog sweep. Big shots coming here into the leg side, I'm certain of that.
Yeah, I think we can put the money on that one as well. It's coming through. Again, if the ball's coming into Modani, you got something to go in.
Doesn't quite get the length he wants, Singh, but he does get enough of it to beat the dive of Ben White and get through for a single. That run rate, it's rocketed. It's gone over 6.5 and over. Is there a realistic chance of 150 plus for USA all of a sudden?
It's going to be close because you still have Simi Singh to bowl a couple overs, and he's in very tight. So it's going to be about how you play these overs, but there's definitely a possibility.
Worked down the ground again by Madani. He's got 3 more balls of this wide over, and I think although there's 3 men in the deep on the leg side, if Singh gets the full length that he wants, he's going to unfurl that slog sweep, and those wives and girlfriends of the Irish team up on the bank could be in trouble. Can he get enough of it though? He doesn't want to give it away either. There it is. Look out, wives and girlfriends, it's coming up towards you. Got more than enough of it for 6 more. It wasn't the full length, it was the drag down from Ben White. And Gajanan Singh is playing the innings of his international career. He moves just a couple shy of another T20I 50. It'd be his second in his 2 knocks in T20 international cricket. The first against Argentina. Is he about to make one against Ireland?
Well, no commentators' curses are coming here, but he saw it. He said it's a bad delivery, was short, and just stayed on the back foot once again and launches that one over the leg side.
Down the leg side. This, I think, may be leg buys, but with the additional pace of Ben White, it's going to run away for 4 more. The 100 comes up. An extraordinary partnership, this one. Gajanan Singh doesn't have 50 yet because it's given his leg buys, but he won't mind about that as USA get to 100 in the 14th over.
And I don't think there's many people who would have thought at the 14th over, where the way we started this match with 3 wickets going down very quickly, we'd have 100 here in the 14th over. What a comeback from the United States, and still a lot more to come.
We'll drag down, and I think this has missed everything, has it? I think we're going to have 4 leg buys followed up by 4 buys. We'll wait for the signal. It's come off an under edge. Gajanan Singh is 50. Look at the celebration. Let's take a look at Gajanan Singh here. I think there's going to be real emotion for him. Maybe not just yet. Is this an indication he doesn't want 50? He wants 100.
Yeah, I think he's thinking to himself, the job's not done yet. I got to see my team through the line. But what an innings it's been for Gajanan Singh. He's really been the guy to come back and rebuild this USA innings. And if the U.S. come and hold on to this match, and there you see the celebration, finally the bat raised, delayed. If the U.S. comes back and wins this match, it's that man right there on your screen who has been the catalyst for it.
Yeah, an extraordinary innings, and you get the sense he feels like he's only halfway done. 52 coming from 36 deliveries, 4 maximums, 3 of them into the leg side, and one of the most extraordinary shots I've ever witnessed live over the offside, which I think is going to be doing the rounds on social media pretty soon. But it's also a really strong indicator as to how good batting is going to be on this wicket. USA may be moving back into the game. And Ireland, they are rattled.
Again, pressure. Ireland hadn't felt it in a while. They finally got some glimpse of it, and now it's starting to do something. Simi Singh, who had been so consistent through his 3 overs, now starting to feel some of it.
Yeah, change of ends for Singh back into the attack. Madani just shuffles that one into the leg side. He split the 2 fielders. Madani gets in the act. His strike rate moves north of 100. The home crowd, they're loving it. The youngsters, they're seeing their stars in the flesh. USA, are they on top right now?
I don't know if they're on top, but when it rains, it pours, and it's pouring right now for the United States. Boundaries coming at a rate which we have not seen. Again, short from the Irish, and again put away through the leg side. This time 4, and this time O'Donnell. He's got to feel glad to get another boundary to his name.
This time through the offside, and I think it's fair to say Ireland are all over the place for the last 20 or 30 minutes in particular. Barry McCarthy with a brilliant new ball blitz that looked like it was going to blow America away. And Gajanan Singh and Sushant Madani have changed this game, and they've changed it not just through what's nearly a 100-run partnership, but particularly the course of their run scoring in the last 5 or 6 overs. Singh in particular with those 4 maximums, bringing USA right into the game. We speculated about 130 or 140. USA probably thinking about 170, 180 now. Singh going to go through the offside. That's another quite special shot. Hasn't tried to overhit it. He's gone inside out through the extra cover region. 4 more to the total.
And if you're getting a 170, 180, that's the way to do it, and it's going to be on that man's back. Comes down the track, like you said, into out on it, and that one goes through extra cover. Give him 4 more and give the U.S. 4 more.
The last 5 overs have gone for 71 runs in an unbroken partnership that's worth 2 shy of 100. And all of a sudden, the visitors are looking shell-shocked. They've turned back to their most experienced bowler, their most consistent and economical bowler in Simi Singh. He's been dispatched for 10 from just 3 legal deliveries. And Gajanan Singh looks like he wants more. Fielders are being sent everywhere. And the panic button well and truly pressed by Ireland right now. Smashed down the ground, and his partner Madani has to take evasive action. How good an innings has this been from Gajanan Singh?
Not only the sheer amount of runs that he scored, 56, but the pressure in which he's come in and done it in. And that's the mark of a truly great player, when they come in, when the pressure is highest, and they put out the most productive performance they've had. Another great innings here from Singh in a big-time moment.
There's the leg break from Simi Singh, and I think it was picked by Madani. Going to be disappointed to not get that one away. Noticeable change of action, but again, not much turn on offer, even though it was the wrist spin instead of the off spin.
Yeah, and I think he was hoping that Madani wouldn't pick it and try to chop it on. Unfortunately for Singh, didn't happen for him.
Back-to-back leg breaks this time. Madani will get the single. That'll close out Simi Singh's spell. He's going to finish with 4 overs, 1 for 27. Let's take a look at his figures. Remember, I think at one stage he might have had 3 overs for 9, so that final over, a very expensive one. Gajanan Singh looks in full control so far. This partnership is growing in stature and in confidence. And it's worth 100. Look at that, right on cue. Gajanan Singh and Madani. I think it's the highest partnership for the 5th wicket for USA in T20 international cricket as well.
And again, we talked about it. This was going to be the key partnership for the United States. If they could have any shot at it, it was these 2 men that had to do it. Yes, Singh has taken the front seat in this. He's been the driver, but Madani's played well. Great partnership, and this is exactly what the U.S. needed.
And a real risk here from Andrew Balbirnie, the Irish captain. He's gone back to the leg spin of Ben White, which has been costly so far. Madani just needs to get a single here. That's exactly what he'll do. That's clever batting. I don't think they should push for the second. Shows the intent of Gajanan Singh. He was happy to get the second, but he'll have 5 balls, and that leg side that he's favoured with the ball turning into him, we could see fireworks here. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a packed leg side, but anytime he's played it over the leg side, it's been 6. So it doesn't matter how many fielders you put over there, as long as it's 6 runs. If it's in his zone, he's going to go and play at it.
There it is. As soon as it comes off the bat, you knew that one's 6. Where's that one going? A chance in the crowd. They didn't even get a hand on it. But youngsters are cheering because their hero, Gajanan Singh, has moved into the 60s. This could be one of the most special innings ever played in American colours in T20I cricket, and he's still got nearly 5 overs to bat.
It's been incredible so far and still looks like more to come. And again, you're questioning the decision to bring back White. Singh has taken a liking to him, and he's continued that liking through this over as well.
And look at Andrew Balbirnie, the Irish captain. I'm not sure he knows exactly where to look or what to do right now, because everything he has done since that initial burst from Barry McCarthy seems to not quite have gone right. He's got a bit of hand sanitizer there with the ball going into the crowd. But White must be wondering, where does he bowl to Singh? If he drags it down, it gets pumped for 6. If he goes too full, he unfurls the slog sweep. He's got to try hide the ball away outside the off stump, maybe use his googly. That's where he's tried to hide it away, but this time Singh will carve it over the offside. Just going to be a couple. You can see the pressure just continues to build on every Irish bowler, and USA definitely hunting down maybe 175 or something like that right now.
And again, you talk about the pressure. Finally, you had to do something different for White. He's bowled similar types of delivery throughout the innings and now has had to change it up. And again, 175 definitely on the table if Singh can continue to bat on.
Going to try that slog sweep, but doesn't make contact. You have to remember, this is Singh's 5th T20 international appearance, but in 3 of his first 4 games, he didn't get to bat. He's only got to bat once against Argentina, where he made that half-century. So 2 innings, 2 half-centuries. Fans continue to stream in. Oh, and it's all going wrong here for Ben White. You can see what he's trying to do. Doesn't want to allow Singh to access the leg side, but that's dragged down. He's got 2 more deliveries to get through. Singh's going to want at least 1, if not 2 maximums.
The pressure is on, and again, you see it, a wide and a loosener on the previous 3 deliveries.
That's better from Singh. Bowled a bit more from White. And that's being given. We didn't actually hear any noise. We're in an insulated commentary box here. But Rock has held on to a good catch, and Singh indicating maybe it's just come off the toe. Definitely a little bit of turn seems to have deceived Gajanan Singh, and an innings that has turned the game on its head. 65 off 42 deliveries is going to end there with a real moment of misfortune for USA.
Yeah, the American fans won't be happy. It looked like a thin under edge maybe, but again, the American fans not going to be happy with it, but it's been a brilliant innings from Singh, and now the Americans need to capitalize from the platform he's put on.
Big cheers from the American home crowd. 65 from 42 for him. We'll see if we can bring you that replay and find out, was there something just very faint through to the keeper, Neil Rock. Going to bring Marty Kane to the crease, the left-hander. Got a nice platform to work with. 25 deliveries remain. Here is that replay. Definitely dragged down, a little bit of turn, and in fact, yeah, I think it's come right off the toe end of the bat through to the keeper, Rock. It's a really good catch, adjusting well across to his left. And Kane's going to get off the mark from his first delivery in international cricket. 16 overs gone. We'll have a final change in the commentary box. I'll welcome back Peter Della Penna. It's 127 for 5. Peter, when you left me to go take some photos, it was, I think, something in the region of 16 for 4 or maybe 20 odd for 4 at the time. We've seen a quite brilliant partnership, a very special partnership, I think the highest for the 5th wicket for USA in T20 international cricket, and ball striking of the highest quality from Gajanan Singh, a stunning innings.
Well, I think Amon was the good luck charm for USA because when I left, no wickets fell. As soon as I walked back into the booth, Gajanan Singh gets out. USA bench is going to shout up here, get Delapeno off the mic, get Amon Patel back on the mic.
They won't be the only one, Peter. Of course, joke. But it was a brilliant knock from Gajanan Singh. Definitely his best ever in American colours.
Well, you were the one who made the prescient comment. The slog sweep from Gajanan pulled it out to great effect. Using the wind as well. Again, if you get it up into the air here, the winds are gusting so strong.
Worked into the leg side early by Marty Kane. He gets a single. It's difficult for us up here in the commentary position. We're right behind the bowler's arm, but we're completely soundproofed off. Looked to me, though, like the American crowd were really getting into it.
There were a couple USA chants. One of them started by Leslie Johnson on the East Grandstand, the wife of former USA national team player Mark Johnson, and a longtime Broward County employee in the mayor's office. She's out here with her family, regulars at the cricket here at Broward County Stadium.
Yeah, the atmosphere building up nicely. This is the first of 2 T20 internationals in the Dafabet USA v Ireland Men's International Series 2021. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Thursday night lights under floodlights at 7 p.m. Oh, and a big hit into the leg side. I think that's going to have more than enough to clear the rope. And Madani says, I'm not just a touch player. I'm not just a technique player. I can heave them high and handsome. 6 more to the total for Team USA.
Usually the wind blows out to the northwest in the late afternoon. Winds swirling around different directions today. They're blowing out east. All the 6s that Gajanan Singh has hit, barring one, were out to that eastern boundary. That's where the wind is whipping up. And Sushant Madani, now right-hander, hitting onto the leg side. That's where the wind is blowing. And he didn't get much elevation on it, but you don't need to. Didn't get more than 15, 20 feet up in the air, but the wind is just so strong. You get the slightest elevation, and it's going to carry. The man at deep mid-wicket thought he was in play initially, and then a few seconds later it was sailing over his head.
Yeah, and fielders running everywhere. It looked to me like Ireland absolutely rattled. You were down pitch side. Could you hear of anything going on, Peter, between them?
I couldn't hear anything, and that was the problem. Silence in the outfield for Ireland. They're a bit shell-shocked after that century partnership. Things were going along so smoothly, and now they've been struggling for answers.
Hit over the offside, but there's been a fielder placed out for exactly that. It's not going to carry to him. The tactic here from Adair is to go to the wide Yorker for the right-hander Madani, and that's why that kind of deep backward point fielder was placed out there, nearly carried all the way to Lorcan Tucker.
But you see the wind coming into play again there, Lenny. The wind blowing so strong to the east, to the leg side. Sushant Madani, good bowling by Mark Adair, going for the wide Yorker, bowling with the wind, assisting him. You don't want to be bowling on the legs too straight because it's going to disappear with the wind. He goes offside, but the wind is so strong the ball doesn't carry to the man coming in off the rope.
They're running in the crowd, quite literally. They're going to keep running because Marty Kane will get his first boundary in international cricket, over-pitched by Adair this time. It's been all USA for the last 30 or 40 minutes. You might have tuned in when it was 16 for 4 and wondered, is this series even going to be competitive? USA making a big statement now.
And you see the home field advantage coming into play here. A lot of the guys who have played in the U.S. Open are much more familiar with these conditions. They know how significant the wind factor here is in Lauderhill, and they're using it to their advantage so well today.
Hit into the leg side, but protection out there will just be a single. Are we also really getting a good indicator, though, of just how good a batting wicket this is as well?
It'll be music to the ears of Samuel Plummer, the pitch curator here in Lauderhill, formerly the curator at Chedwin Park in Jamaica. He's been doing wickets here in Lauderhill for close to a decade now. And when he's here, you can guarantee there's going to be runs in the wicket.
It's going to be signalled wide outside the off stump. Adair has a long, hard stare back at the umpire. He won't change his mind. This over has already gone for 14. USA continuing to prosper in the latter stages of this first innings of the series.
Samir Bandekar out of Texas, originally from India. Famously was the TV umpire in the epic Calcutta test in which India won coming from behind on the follow-on. But he's been in the USA now for around about a decade.
Hit into the offside. McCarthy's out there. It's not going to carry to him, and you got a great indicator there of the wind that's hitting into the wind, so it's just held up. Madani will keep the strike. We get to the end of the 17th over. USA still hunting down 175 plus. It's 142 for 5. This the 11th T20 International to be held here at this ground, but the first to feature the United States of America. Lots of other sides have come over and played here, most famously perhaps West Indies against India, that remarkable game where West Indies chased down 244 that India made. But the average first innings total here is in and around 165, Peter, so USA will feel like they're on track to go above that.
Well, the Samuel Plummer wickets are generally par is 180. So if they can get close to that, USA will feel like they've got a genuine chance. But the advantage for Ireland batting second, they get a chance to see the conditions that they're not used to. And they'll have a very strong awareness of how the wind can assist them as they look to go about chasing these runs. When Paul Sterling is batting from the north end, you can be guaranteed he's going to be pulling out the slog sweep to send it into the East Grandstand.
Down the leg side, and it's a full toss worked behind square by Madani, and they won't get a second. Camphor took what I would suggest is a pretty remarkable walk back to the stumps there, made sure he put himself in between Madani and the chance of a second run. A little bit of gamesmanship there from Camphor.
That was WWE cricket there. The umpire had his back turned, didn't see the maneuver there to potentially obstruct the second run from being completed.
Yeah, a little bit cynical, I think it's fair to describe that as, from Curtis Camphor. He knew exactly what he was doing there. But it will bring Marty Kane back onto strike, and he'll be hitting with the wind. Not saying the boundary's any shorter to the left-hander's leg side, but that's where we've seen a lot of the sixes rain so far today. That's where Kane will likely target. And into the offside though. Good bowling from Camphor. Gets it full enough to hide it away from the leg side.
We've seen an awful lot of wide Yorkers to Marty Kane whenever he's on strike from this end. He's got to bowl it wide to the left-handers, and he's got to get it straight into the legs to Sushant Madani. Nothing wide outside off from Madani because the wind is blowing into that offside, his hitting arc. So Camphor's got to keep it very, very straight here.
Madani just lost his shape a little there. Kane, he is rapid between the wickets. He's an outstanding fielder as well.
This is also good strategy from USA. They've been thinking about their lineup. Again, so many changes in the squad. There's really no set rotation or order that you could claim USA has approaching this match with so many regulars missing, but they've been clever about setting the lineup to ensure that there's always been, generally speaking, a right-hander and a left-hander batting together to keep the bowlers off balance.
Kane is trying to target that leg side. He even steps outside the off stump, but Camphor hides it away. All he can do is get it down the ground for one.
This is the cat and mouse game. Again, the right-hand, left-handers at the crease for USA. The wind is always going to be favoring one player to the leg side and one player to the offside, and it's up to Camphor to make sure he gets his line as wide as possible outside off to Kane and as tight as possible, straight as possible to Madani.
Gets it into the offside. I think McClintock's not going to cut that off. He didn't pick it up. A rather extraordinary shot. Gets it somehow behind square on the offside to what was a leg stump full toss. Good innovation from Madani. 4 more to him.
It was a good delivery from Camphor, and I don't think Sushant Madani intended to really hit it there. You could say he was trying to go inside out, but it was such a thick edge that looked like he was more trying to go through cover point. Instead, he got it fine enough. And McClintock, as you said, may have lost it in the glare. The sun is actually behind him, but there's quite a strong glare at field level when the sun starts to set, and that may have affected him being able to pick up the ball.
I've got to give him credit. I think he's intended to play that there. Really brilliant innovation from Madani. He moves to 45. Get to the end of the 18th over. Camphor's spell is done. No 4 wickets and 4 balls for him today. He's got none for 41. And USA, perhaps they're on top right now. 150 has been brought up in that over. 12 deliveries remain. Can they get up to 175, 180? Here's the bowling options for Ireland. McCarthy will certainly end up bowling one of the last 2 overs. It will be this one, the 19th, and then Adair will bowl the other. Are you surprised just to see the 5 bowlers used? No Paul Sterling?
A little bit surprised that we didn't get to see Sterling bowl, particularly with the number of left-handers that USA has had in their lineup, just to offer somebody to turn the ball away a little bit. But I'm not sure it would have mattered all that much because the pitch, again, is so flat. USA have capitalized on it outside that power play when McCarthy did all the damage. And here is the chief destroyer coming back into the attack.
Yeah, big Barry McCarthy back into the attack from the pavilion end of the ground. Gets it into the block hole, but he's treated through the offside by Madani, who moves to within 1 run of a maiden T20I 50. Cricket is a very funny old game. Madani not involved in the T20I squad. USA shorn of Stephen Taylor and Aaron Jones in particular. They've gone with him, and he's answered the call brilliantly.
It was a good ball by McCarthy, full and wide. He was going for the wide Yorker, and the boundary riders for Ireland on that side have been cheating in quite a long distance because earlier Sushant Madani had 2 chances that didn't carry because he was hitting so strongly into the wind. On this occasion, he gets it flat on the turf, doesn't get it into the wind, and it skids along to the boundary.
Yeah, you can see the plan here, but I think the execution was just off. And that's how fine the margins are. If that was 3 or 4 inches shorter, it would have hit the block hole perfectly. Instead, Madani turned it into a low full toss, gets it away for 4.
And again, the tactics here, the leg side boundary is packed offside, especially behind square. Everybody's been cheating in, and after that boundary, you actually have had deep third man go back to the rope when he was cheating in about 15, 20 yards.
That's exactly where that ball's going to go. It's almost a deep backward point, really, Peter, isn't it? And that's going to bring up the 50 for Madani. He gets there from 38 deliveries. It's been a fine innings, a very different innings to the one that Gajanan Singh played, but he's got his strike rate up, and he celebrates getting to that landmark for the very first time in this format.
Well, he's been in excellent form the last month and a half. 2 centuries, unbeaten centuries in Texas at the 50-over championships. Because of all the players ruled out with COVID, he gets his opportunity, as you said, when he wasn't originally in the T20I squad, but inserted today and makes the most of his opportunity.
Marty Kane has smoked that into the wind. It's going to go over the head of Lorcan Tucker. He's walked outside his off stump. He's got the low full toss he wanted. He bowls with an extraordinary action, and he's now batting with an extraordinary stroke into the leg side. 6 more to the total. What a shot from Marty Kane.
What muscle from Marty Kane. Those surfing muscles from the waves in San Diego. Hitting through the wind, a very strong wind. To be able to clear that boundary takes some punch.
Rides the bounce into the leg side. Will just be a single this time to Kane, but just see if we can bring you that 6 from Kane again. That's hitting to the largest part of the ground into the wind, and it's gone high and handsome over the head of the fielder.
And Lorcan Tucker, who was out there, actually came in about 3 yards when it came off the bat because he was assuming the ball would hang up in the wind and he would actually have to charge in because, as I said earlier, 2 chances off Madani. He charged in, they didn't carry. Instead, this one sails over his head for 6.
Hit into the offside. This could be a chance. Long off is out. Simi Singh nestles underneath it and takes the chance. So McCarthy has his 4th. Probably exactly what he deserves with the way he's bowled today. Simi Singh gives him a clap and Madani will get to exactly 50 and then hole out to Simi Singh in the deep. McCarthy has his fourth, but USA, thanks to Madani and Singh, are really in contention of posting a very competitive total.
Good bowling from McCarthy. Again, they're getting it full and wide. And Madani trying to hit into the wind. The ball hanging up on that side of the ground, on the west side of the ground. If he was going to clear the rope, he really had to go much straighter or leg side. And that one just hanging up in the wind. Simi Singh has had an hour and 10 minutes to adjust to the windy conditions. Judges it very well. It's not been easy out there with the wind swirling as much as it has, but takes a safe catch 3 yards in from the rope.
Yeah, more big cheers from the home crowd. And Marty Kane doesn't quite work that to where he would like to. Nisarg Patel to the crease with 1 over left. He won't be on strike, Marty Kane will. It's 165 for 6. So Kane is going to have just 6 balls for Mark Adair to try and get this American total maybe up north of 180, but he'll be hitting with the wind into the leg side. And you'd have to think from the way he was striking the ball, not just so far in his innings, but also in the nets a couple of days ago, Peter. He'll fancy his chances. Adair's going to come around the wicket. That'll angle the ball in. Kane will enjoy that.
You're going to see him. Again, this cat and mouse game, more than likely he's going to be shuffling all the way across his stumps to try and take advantage of the leg side where the wind has been assisting so many of the sixes today for USA. So Adair going for the wide Yorkers around the wicket. Kane shuffling across his stumps. In fact, Lenny, he's already taken guard, it looks like. For a moment there, it looked like he was going to take his guard outside off stump. We've seen Jaskaran Malhotra use that strategy a few times for USA.
Yeah, using it most famously towards the tail end of that innings of 173 not out, with those 6 sixes against poor old Papua New Guinea, becoming just the 4th international batter to do so. Here comes Adair to Kane. That's exactly where he's going to go. A stunning shot with fine leg and square leg up in the circle, just helped around the corner. 4 more to the total. Kane's first international innings is proving to be a little gem.
I don't understand that field setting for Ireland. You knew that's the shot he's going to play. You knew where we need the most protection on the leg side boundary. Instead, they've got a deep cover in place. I know they're trying to bowl full and wide with the Yorker, but you make a mistake like that, and there's no margin for error. And now we do have a field change, as Simi Singh is going to go out to deep backward square leg. You've got a long on. There was a deep cover and a deep backward point or deep third man, you can understand, but you really need 3 guys on the leg side. They didn't have that protection, and now the field adjustment is made. Long on, deep mid wicket, and now deep backward square to protect against that scoop that Marty Kane just played.
And I think there's fans there, Peter, who know their cricket. They know that they could be in action. They're getting ready for maybe a crowd chance. That's where Marty Kane's going to target again, even with the fielder out there. Helped into the leg side around the corner. Singh's not going to cut that off. I'm not too sure of the tactics here from Ireland. Back-to-back boundaries off the bowling of Adair. Kane is helping himself.
Well, that's the same spot where the previous boundary won. And again, an error there in terms of the angles. Simi Singh was placed far too square at deep backward square. He should really be more at a deep fine leg. He's far too square on the boundary for where Kane is targeting. And again, it's an easy boundary. And still, he's going back very square on the boundary, Simi Singh, instead of coming a bit finer where Kane has been targeting.
There's a fielder out at deep backward point right now. I'm not sure how the ball can get there, because Kane's going to keep hammering it into the leg side. 4, followed up by a maximum 6. A great stroke into the leg side. USA are meeting the spectacle of this historic occasion. They moved to 179 already. They've got 16 in 3 deliveries, and it's advantage to the home side now, surely.
Well, as intelligent as this has been from Marty Kane, this is really poor, you got to say, from Mark Adair. He's got to bowl as full and wide as possible, really going beyond the wide guidelines. And whether he's come around the wicket or over the wicket, he's just been too straight, way too straight for the conditions and the field setting. And Marty Kane has been ruthless.
He really has. And finally, that deep backward point fielder on the offside has now come up into the circle. Extra protection goes into the leg side. That's where Kane's going to go again. 4, 4, 6, 6. Dropped in the crowd. What a chance it was. It was his moment to shine, and he's put it down.
Andy Balbirnie not happy with his team right now. And this is shades of Stuart Binney. 2016, when Evan Lewis tore him apart because Stuart Binney could not adjust and recognize the conditions that were at hand with the wind when the West Indies scored that 245 record-setting total here in Lauderhill. And Stuart Binney was almost had his career ended that day at the hands of Evan Lewis because he could not adjust to the wind. And Mark Adair is having the same issue here. 4 deliveries on the legs. 4 times he's missed that wide Yorker. He has to be precise with the wind the way it is, and he's missed every time.
Doesn't quite get it this time. It was there to be hit as well. Surely Kane has to come back for the second. Going to be a run-out opportunity, but the throw is errant. It's wide. It kind of sums up Ireland's last 30 to 45 minutes or so. Kane will keep the strike. He's got 22 from 5 deliveries. He's got 1 more to work with, and the happiest people anywhere in Florida are the home crowd right now.
You can see Leslie Johnson up on her feet, supporting USA along with everybody else in the crowd. A Santa hat there as well. And what a finishing flourish this is from Marty Kane, making his family in New Zealand and in Missouri very proud.
Finally, Adair gets it spot on. They'll get through for what I think will be 1 leg by. That was where I think he was trying to bowl. Didn't really get it right throughout the final over. Marty Kane, 39 from just 15 deliveries. And Jagadish Arun Kumar, the USA head coach, has the strut of a man who feels like his side have got more than enough to defend to score what would be a historic first T20I win over a Test nation. Paul Sterling sprinting off. He's going to get the pads on. But brilliance from Gajanan Singh in particular, combined with Sushant Madani in that record 5th wicket stand in T20I cricket for USA. And then the man on your screen, Marty Kane. It's his international debut. He shows that he belongs at this level, Peter.
Oh, you never know, by the way he batted today, that he took about 2 years off from professional cricket. Only really took it seriously again in the last year with the start of minor league, but he's getting a huge, very warm reception from the USA squad, welcoming him off the field. From Nelson to San Diego to Lauderhill, Marty Kane delivering in a big way for USA.
And from 16 for 4 to 188 for 6, Peter. How did USA do that? Look at the top of that scorecard. 2-8-4-0. Madani, Singh, Kane, outstanding.
Huge credit has to go to Gajanan Singh in particular because when he arrived, could have easily buckled under the pressure that Barry McCarthy was exerting, but kept his nerve, kept his cool, saw out a difficult period just after the power play when all the carnage happened, and he's turned this match upside down in favor of USA.
Yeah, the Irish bowlers, with the exception of McCarthy, who has his career best in T20I cricket, 4 for 30 for him. Not a lot to be pleased about. Maybe Simi Singh's 1 for 27, respectable as well. But Adair in particular, alongside Ben White and Curtis Camphor, hammered around the ground. And Ireland, they're shell-shocked. They don't exactly know what's just happened to them. And at the halfway stage of the first innings of this 5-match Dafabet USA versus Ireland Men's International Series 2021, it's perhaps USA that are standing on the brink of history at this historic occasion. If they can keep Ireland to 187 or less, they're going to move 1-0 up in the series and crown what has been A phenomenal performance, particularly from those three batters in your screen, Gajanan Singh, Sushant Madani and Marty Kane. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you within about 10 minutes time to see if Paul Sterling and Ireland can chase down this total. from what was a rather calamitous start to their innings. They dipped as low as 16 for 4 at one stage. And in their last 12 overs of the innings, they've scored 155 runs to post 188 for 6. Going to be Sarah of Netravalker to open the bowling to Paul Sterling, the real star of this Irish lineup. And a rather sedate start for a man who comes with such a big reputation. Just watches it outside the off stump. Andrew Leonard here in the commentary box. I'll be with you throughout this chase, joined by Aman Patel. Aman, I'm not sure any American fan, even the most ardent one, could have predicted the end to that innings.
Absolutely not, but I heard a lot of people outside say hop on the Kane train, and that's exactly what the United States did.
Yeah, the Kane train, for those listening in and wondering what that means. Marty Kane, stunning innings, a cameo, 39, coming at a strike rate of over 200, managing to carve Mark Adair for I think it was 23 runs from the final over. Have USA got enough with this 188?
I would sure hope they got enough with this 188. It's a big score here. The average score around here is 160, so 188, I believe, should be more than enough for the United States. But again, it's about the big hitters that Ireland possess. What can they do with them, the United States? Can they get them out early, or would they allow them to flourish?
Andy Balbirnie, his new role, replacing Kevin O'Brien at the top of the order. He's going to steer that one through the offside. Very elegant stroke indeed. He's in many ways Ireland's Sushant Madani, the most technically correct perhaps of the Irish batters, overpitched from Netravalker and punished through the offside. A lovely stroke.
And that's the best way to start your innings off, with that lovely cover drive there. Just put the feet out. It was a tad bit overpitched, a tad bit too wide, and easy pickings for Balbirnie.
Slip comes out of place, and that was Xavier Marshall, who was in for just the one ball at kind of a fly second slip. Goes into the covers. That's exactly where the ball is hit. Balbirnie spent most of his career in T20I cricket there at number 3. Probably doesn't come as naturally, the T20I game, to him as the ODI game does. When you think of his record in ODI cricket, 700s, 1250s, average well in excess of 30, and big famous centuries against both England and South Africa in recent years, and big ODI wins for Ireland. There's a lot of talk back in Irish cricket about the replacement of O'Brien, because O'Brien has had such a successful partnership with Sterling at the top of the order. Was that something that surprised you to not see big Kevin O'Brien here in America?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you look at the world cricket scene, you look at Ireland cricket, you think about Kevin O'Brien. He really was the face of Irish cricket for a long time, and to see him get moved off of, it was really a big shock. But I think Ireland looking for a new direction and looking to continue to make progress forward and not live in the past.
Is it a big surprise, though, with a T20 World Cup qualifier just around the corner? Ireland will go out to Oman in about 6 to 8 weeks' time as we get to the end of the first over. The score 5-0. And they'll be playing 7 other sides, 8 teams. The qualifier now split into 2 groups with just 2 places on offer. O'Brien, who became the first Irishman to score a century in all 3 formats, with a century there in Oman. I think that was against Hong Kong. Will they still consider him for 6 or 7 weeks' time? He might come back in and join Sterling at the top of the order, or do you think it'll be Balbirnie and Sterling for the moment?
I think once you make a move, you got to kind of dig your heels in and be really good with your move. You have to stick with it unless it goes to complete garbage. That's when you change it up. But I think right now they still have, Balbirnie looked good. He's played a couple of deliveries, had the one big cover drive. And I think as you go into these 7 months, you want to give him as much time up top the order with Sterling to really evaluate yourself. And you don't want to go back on as big of a decision as you made of leaving out O'Brien.
Here comes arguably the key battle, not just for today's match, but maybe for the series. You'll have seen the posters the way around Fort Lauderdale, and if If you're not here on social media, it's Ali Khan against Paul Sterling. They're the two stars of the show. Here he comes with his right arm quick, just worked into the leg side. Nice touch from Sterling. He might have done enough to get that for two. Gajanan Singh, wholehearted an effort, tries to get the dive out. He's helped out by the youngster next to him, Yasir Mohammed. A couple for Sterling. Nicely worked. Ali Khan, he's the star. He's the poster boy, isn't he, of American cricket?
Absolutely. There's no bigger name in U.S. cricket than Ali Khan. He's played all across the world, whether it's in the CPL. He's been in IPL facilities with the Kolkata Knight Riders. So he is really the star of U.S. cricket, the face of it, as you said, because there's no bigger name in U.S. cricket than Ali Khan.
And there's no bigger name, really, in Irish cricket these days than Paul Sterling. And he's going to get his first boundary. A sprawling dive. Great effort from Sarav Netravalkar, the former American captain, but he can't cut it off. Sterling, he hasn't even opened the shoulders yet. He's already moved to 7 off just 4 balls.
Ali Khan trying to hit the length there. It wasn't too wide, but just used the pace nicely, did Sterling, and just maneuvered it away from Sarav Netravalkar there at deep third man. A great start there for Ireland.
Yeah, and this will be exactly what Ireland's chase is going to consist of. Paul Sterling batting for as long as he physically can. The longer he's out there, the more Ireland's chances go up of winning. I think that's why they've gone with Ali Khan early with the new ball. They've said we need to get Sterling out early if we're going to defend this total.
And Ali Khan, it feels like he is the USA's trump card. He's the man who you turn to when you need that wicket. He's got the pace. He can move the ball away from the right-handed batsman, and you're relying on his experience overseas. Not as experienced in the red, white, and blue, but when you talk about his overseas cricket across various franchises, he is someone who pretty much boasts the most experience among this USA bowling attack. So he's going to be the main man here for the United States.
Dug in, picked up, and has he picked out the man? He has. Balbirnie's stay at the crease is a very short one. Yasir Mohammed, it wasn't convincing, but the extra pace of Ali Khan has bounced out the Irish captain, and the USA flags are flying up in the crowd. What a start for Ali Khan, and what a start for USA.
And what a start for Yasir Mohammed, the debutant. He finally gets his number called. I'm sure his knees were shaking a little bit as that one was coming towards him. Didn't want to make the mistake and held on to it in the end. Takes the catch, and there you go. Balbirnie has to go. Ali Khan gets a big wicket to start off, and Yasir Mohammed make no mistake with the hands.
Yeah, Andrew Balbirnie is gone for 4 from 5 deliveries. The change at the top of the order, it hasn't worked for Ireland. Will the change at number 3 work? It's going to be Lorcan Tucker coming in, playing as a batter only, the keeper batsman who has spent a lot of his internationals behind the stumps, but Neil Rock has taken those gloves over. And what a moment for young Yasir Mohammed. I'd say this time last week he was possibly lying on his couch at home thinking, I've got no more cricket this year. He's out there on a global stage, a broadcast all the way around the world. He's just caught the Irish captain off the bowling of one of his idols, Muhammad Ali Khan.
Yeah, fresh off of that win in the U.S. Open right here in this very stadium with the Somerset Cavaliers, and absolutely with one of his heroes, Muhammad Ali Khan, making that catch for him. He's probably getting out of a couple of finals from school, and now he gets the call up to the U.S. national team. It's got to be a dream journey for Yasir Mohammed.
Oh, that is rapid. Sharp and fast, and down comes Muhammad Ali Khan. There's not just a word, but look at the body language. He stands and he says, look at me, we're here to play USA.
Very confident man Ali Khan is. He's not going to shy away from any battle. He's going to take it to you, and he's going to say, here's everything I've got. You can't beat me, and he trusts his game immensely.
And that's quicker than anything we've seen from any of the Irish bowlers. Not just quicker by a little bit, by a yard, maybe a yard and a half. No Josh Little today, remember, for Ireland. We'll see him, he can crank the speed radar up as well. On a play and a miss. A brilliant start from the talisman. And look at that, real aggression. What's he saying to Lorcan Tucker? Back you go to the commentary box. Needs to be careful, Ali Khan, but he's got a wicket. And I think the adrenaline is coursing through his veins. Ireland, 12 for 1.
And as you said, how can the adrenaline not be rushing through Ali Khan's veins? It's rushing through the veins of every USA cricket fan there is, especially in the stadium, on the field, everywhere. We have all of it going. You can see the 11 here.
How much credit do the American selectors need to be given for backing youth, for saying, we are going to bring our youngsters in? Netravalkar and Ali Khan, two of the experienced players, but if you go back to the squad graphic, they're saying we're going to bring in our born and bred players and see how they go against a test nation.
Hats off to the selectors for that. That's how you grow this game. Is these are our youth. These are the people who've come up through the United States format, and again, played some cricket with the Yasir, played some cricket with all these guys. They're great cricketers, and I think it's only going to help USA cricket, and it's going to help their games in the long run.
And here's the moment. I think quite a few people down in New Zealand who are up in the early hours were waiting for Marty Kane. He's going to come into the attack, and I think this is a matchup thing. I think they like left arm spin potentially against Paul Sterling, and it gives young Aman Patel across to my left a chance after this ball to describe this unique bowling action. Oh, he might have heard you up in the box. Dead ball will be signalled. It's definitely different. It's definitely unlike anything you've ever seen. The way he propels the ball down the crease. And Paul Sterling helps himself over the offside, over pitched. It won't go all the way. Just a couple of bounces and we'll run away for another boundary for Sterling.
As you said, over pitched wide and just threw his hands at it, able to lift it over the top in the power play. No man out in the deep on the offside and made it look real easy. And with the action, it's almost like as if a car stalls, his arm tucks into his armpit, he stops for a little bit and then rips it.
Yeah, this time he's dragged it down, and that's far, far, far too easy for a batter of Paul Sterling's class. Back-to-back boundaries allows Ireland to recover from the loss of their captain. I quite like that description, man. The car stalling just in the gather and then it kind of kicking back into gear again and coming over. But that was a poor delivery. We didn't quite bring it to you live. We'll see if he can bring you the replay. He's quick between his overs as well. It was really just a freebie down the leg side. No turn on offer. Punched into the air. I don't think the mid-off fielder's going to get there. Won't have the momentum to get to the rope. 2 more to the total. 10 from 3 balls.
Yeah, and a dream start here to the over. You got a freebie on the second delivery, a nice shot over cover, and now you've had a lot of pressure released after the initial wicket to break the opening pair. Marty Kane just struggling a little bit. Very flamboyant in the action with the bat, but right now just struggling with the ball.
Oh, that's a special shot. He loves it inside out over extra cover. I'm not sure there's many batters in world cricket who hit it better through there. And even though it felt like it might have been at a catchable height for a moment, he's always got enough of that to get it over the head of the man at extra cover. And it's going to bring about possibly a change in field. Mayank Patel, the captain of USA, is saying, Marty, we need to change something.
And as you said, into out and stylish, posing for the camera, posing for slow motion in 4K as it rolls over the boundary. Just had to sit and watch that one go. Marty Kane, got to find something new to do here. Finally a fielder out on the offside, but will it be enough?
Oh, and he nearly does find something. That one's come off the toe of the bat. Sterling fortunate to survive, but an expensive first over for Kane in international cricket after all his success with the bat. 3 overs gone. It's 26 for 1. And right now, let's take a look at this from this brilliant side-on camera angle we have. Inside out, over extra cover. And Sterling, he's brilliant to watch.
And just through the couple of shots he's played, the run down to third man, again the inside out, the one over the top to the offside, pulling away Marty Kane. He's played some phenomenal shots already, and it just looks like he's starting to find a flow. Doesn't seem like he's really going all in yet. And if he ever gets to that stage, it's going to be real fun to watch here at the Broward County Stadium.
You have to remember the caliber of Paul Sterling. Some people may be watching on going, well, he's no Virat Kohli, he's no Aaron Finch, he's no David Warner. But actually, in T20 international cricket, he's right up there with the best of them. And Lorcan Tucker, yet to get off the mark, has gone for the ramp shot, the scoop shot off Ali Khan. think Ali Khan maybe might be a bit disappointed to see that one given as wide. He's walked all the way across his stumps, and the umpires decided to extend the arms. Big shot for a man on 0.
Yeah, big shot there for sure. And it looks like he's trying to use the pace and just clear. There's no one behind the wicket keeper. Maybe that's what his intention was. There is a fine leg inside the circle, so you really have to create great contact with it. Very risky shot to start off.
Tucker again beaten for pace slightly. And one of the issues that Ireland have had with this series, both sides have had huge COVID issues. 5 or 6 players from both of the teams suffering from some kind of either a close contact of a COVID positive or positive themselves. In fact, Harry Tector and Gareth Delaney, they're back at the team hotel right now. They're watching on Willow TV. They won't get out until Christmas morning, the same as Stephen Taylor, I believe. Big names missing for USA, Stephen Taylor, Aaron Jones. But one of the ways that has impacted Ireland, they haven't had any fast or medium fast bowlers really outside of McCarthy and Adair to bowl in the nets and Camphor. And you can see immediately it's a big step up in pace to face Ali Khan. Good fielding off his own bowling, and he is like a lion in the wild after his prey. He's after Lorcan Tucker, a man.
He is on the prowl. He feels it. He senses it. He's just an enigma of energy. It feels like anytime he comes into bowl, electricity is rushing through his hands. This is a fun matchup, and when he's on a roll, it's never easy to play, but it's always fun to watch.
Hit into the offside at a catchable height, but it splits the two men. Ryan Scott and Marty Kane end up staring at each other, and I think it's pierced them right in the gap. I'm not sure how much control Lorcan Tucker had over that. If it had gone to either fielder, it would have been taken, but instead he gets off the mark with a boundary through the offside.
Yeah, that time just a little bit wider there from Ali Khan, and the release shot comes. As you see, he goes just a touch fuller, a touch wider, and it looked like that's where he wanted to play it. Definitely a catchable height, just pierces the gap and runs away for 4.
Yeah, the sun's starting to peak a little lower in the sky. It's about 10 past 4 local time. And Ireland took a long time to bowl their overs. I think we should have been back out there with this second innings at about 3:30. We do have the floodlights as backup. There'll be no question of getting this game played. But the sun and the shadows streaming across the pitch. Is this going to be the second wicket? It's not, because Monank Patel has either put it down or it hasn't quite carried. Ali Khan was already wheeling away in celebration. Tucker looked for the uppercut, got enough of it, and either Patel grasped it or maybe it just didn't carry. Let's take a look.
As you see again, bowl short onto the body of the uppercut. Looks to be played, catches some of the bat, and it looks like it's bounced just before it's got to Monank Patel's gloves.
Yeah, Ali Khan had already got the right arm up in celebration. He thought he had his man. He thought he had the prey that he was prowling on. But Monank Patel, in fairness, before it even spilled out, he immediately indicated that it had bounced in front of him. So not a chance. Tucker survives. Right into the block hole. That's what he's renowned for. Tucker looks all at sea against the pace of Ali Khan.
Yeah, it's the patented Ali Khan Yorker. Just the heat on that delivery. Again, that one felt even quicker than what he'd been bowling earlier. And again, the pace just doing Tucker in a little bit right now. Ali Khan, he's completely on top of this matchup.
The interesting thing for Monank Patel, a real question is going to be posed, and maybe with Khan just struggling with his left shin a little, maybe the answer will be to hold Khan back. But will he go for a third over of Ali Khan in the power play, like Ireland did with their strike bowler McCarthy, who found that third wicket in the power play? Or will they hold back 2 for the death for the Yorker King? Looks for another scoop shot. He hasn't got near anything, and Ali Khan is going to come down and have a strut and a word with Lorcan Tucker. Good action, good competition, and a good battle between these two.
And right now it's all Ali Khan at the moment. The pace is just beating Tucker right now. Tucker has no answers, has tried to go on 2 very innovative strokes, unable to do so. Nearly found his way back into the commentary box as well. with the little bit of an edge going back to Moning Patel, just bounces before. Ali Khan, he's strutting around there because he's bowled 2 phenomenal overs, and he's really got USA off to a hot start.
Feels a little bit like USA versus Paul Sterling right now. Not USA versus Ireland. Sterling was the man on the posters promoting this series, and understandably so. It's just going to be the 1 over of Marty Kane back to Saurav Netravalkar. And as we so often see Netravalkar do, whether it be at the death in ODI cricket or almost all the way throughout the innings in T20I cricket, he's going to come around the wicket, try and close off the angles to Sterling, not allow him to free his shoulders. Long off is going to go out. The other man outside the circle in this first 6 overs is a deep mid-wicket, so not a huge amount of protection. Here comes Netravalkar from the pavilion end. And Sterling will flay that away over the offside. There's no one square the wicket in the deep. Almost a free hit. Can't bowl with that width. The reason he's coming around the wicket is to restrict the width. He's done the opposite. 4 more to Sterling.
It's just not the place you want to bowl there if you're Saurav Netravalkar. We've seen it already today. Again, just throwing his hands at it, and it seems like that offside he's liking. You see Moning Patel, right as it's been hit, is telling his bowler, to the stumps. Let him play through the leg, let him play straight. Don't give him any width.
Better line from Netravalkar this time. That's what he wants to be doing to Sterling. I think the USA tactic almost needs to be get Sterling off strike, particularly in this power play. Bowl to the other end, bowl to Lorcan Tucker and the Irish middle order when they come in.
And Netravalkar is not shy of pace either. He has a lot of pace. The way he runs it, it's almost cool, calm, and collected, and then fires it towards the end. So he can really rush Tucker as well. Maybe not the Ali Khan upper echelon, but still can definitely put some yards on the ball and can give Tucker some issues with pace.
Angling in, and that'll go out to the one fielder who's actually deep square leg for Tucker, not deep mid-wicket. Yeah, he's a clever bowler, Netravalkar. Uses a lot of cutters, a lot of changes of pace as well. His career ODI economy rate is outstanding. I think it's about 3.2, 3.3, one of the best in the modern era of ODI cricket. But it's very different in T20I cricket. He's been hit around the park a bit, and he might have been worried for his place, the 30-year-old who was the former captain. Sterling's going to go over the offside. Another quite sensational shot, but Yasir Mohammad's going to have a chance to cut it off. He won't get there. 4 more to the total. Sterling is simply finding the gaps in the field where the fielders aren't and finding the rope with consummate ease.
Almost reminiscent of a shot we saw in the first innings from Gurjit Singh, who came over the top on the back foot, over long off. Almost the same thing, just hung on the back foot and just lifted it over the offside and did just enough to move it away from Yasir Mohammed to get it over the boundary rope for 4 more runs.
Mayank Patel, the American captain, he's called for the helmet on. He's not going to come up to the stumps just yet, but that is an option. We do see that a little bit with Netravalkar. Doesn't have anything like the same pace that Ali Khan does. Does rely more on that guile and consistency of line and length. And he's cleaned him up. That's the wicket that USA needed, and that's why you come around the wicket. Middle stump has been rocked back. The perfect line, the perfect length, a big pat on the head, and maybe is that big advantage now to USA.
It was a terrific ball, hit the perfect length, right on that good length. It was a little bit back of it. Sterling looked to take that one over the top of the leg side. It cramped him enough for room in between bat and pad and takes off his middle stump. You can see right there, gone, swinging back into him. And Moning Patel, the tactics worked for him. He trusted his bowler. And Paul Sterling, he's got to go.
The top of middle stump, and no better sight for a bowler. What we saw on the replay from directly behind the bowler's arm, that's gone off the wicket. It's hit the seam and it's come in and it's cut Paul Sterling in half. He shone brightly, but he's gone for 31. And Ireland, they're in all sorts of trouble now. They've lost their gunman at the top of the order, And they could be going down to defeat here to a side ranked 30th in the world.
And to be even having that thought, that conversation after the way it started for the United States, it's 16 for the loss of 4, is just incredible. And it speaks to the grit and determination of this USA side to say, hey, look, we are a for real side. We are not just a side that plays well against low-ranked teams. We can play with the best in the world.
Curtis Camphor in at number 4. Great work from Marty Kane. Outstanding fielder. Wait for the signal. Will be given his leg buys, so yet to get off the mark. It'll get us to the end of the 5th over. The score 42 for 2. No problems at the moment for Ireland with the run rate, really. You'll see the graphics there at the bottom of your screen indicating still in and around 9 and over, a little bit more than that required. But losing Sterling in the power play, that's dream stuff for America.
Especially with the damage that he was already doing with the couple big shots over at the top of the offside. He was taking a liking to some of the bowlers. And for Saurabh Netravalkar, who was kind of getting hidden around to that over, 2 fours coming off of it, 2 singles before the wicket as well. It was an expensive 10-run over before that. And then the wicket fall comes and all is forgiven. The wicket erases all the memories of all the shots that were hit. Paul Sterling has to go. And again, the United States, they're getting a dream start right now, seeing Sterling walk back during the power play.
And this is good captaincy. They've got the big wicket, and he's not going to wait any longer. Ali Khan will be held back for those 2 at the death. Keep your trump card held deep and back your youngsters. Say to Yasir Mohammed, I'll let you bowl in the power play. You've got the 2 right-handers to bowl at now with Camphor and Tucker, 2 new right-handers. And come and show us what you can do with your leg spin. And if he can out-bowl Ben White, maybe pick up a wicket or 2, that's going to inch USA ever more closer to closing out what would be a remarkable win.
Sometimes does have a tendency to drag Saman. Again, that background as a pace bowler, tries to get his arm around a little quick, and early on in his overs he can drag it down, so watch for that one. But let's see what he can do here.
Good stop. It was an awkward bounce, that one, for Marty Kane. Almost came up towards his head. He's done well to not wear it, but also keep it to just a single.
Absolutely, and that's going to be the intent that the U.S. need to continue to restrict Ireland.
Camphor loves anything short. He'll always pick up that pull shot, pick it up quickly, and because there's only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle, he's going to get a boundary. That's the difference. If Mohammed's bowling in an over's time, that could have been down long on's throat. Instead, Camphor gets his first boundary.
Always a risk bowling the spinner in the power play. And as we said, sometimes can get a tendency to go short there and just pulled away by Camphor. Glorious stuff there. And it gets over the rope for 4. How does Yasir respond?
Again into the favoured leg side. Going to be more runs to the total. Just a couple this time out to Ali Khan. Don't think Camphor will risk the 3rd, but Mohammed has to recognise who he's bowling to. Camphor of South African origin, brought up on hard wickets, short in stature, loves a pull shot, loves a slog sweep. Any erring in length is going to be picked up and punished.
Yeah, and for the youngsters, this is what it takes to play at international cricket level, adjusting on the fly and realising who you're playing. Can you step up?
There is that slog sweep, but not out of the middle of the bat. The 50s come up in the 6th over, and a real misfield. No need for Ali Khan to do that. Will allow Camphor to get back for the 2nd. An expensive start in international cricket for young Yasir Mohammed.
Not an ideal start, but it is the power play. The day is still young for Yasir. He's just got to keep his head up and stick to what he knows, get back to bowling his line and lengths.
Again, that pull shot and more work for Ali Khan, who will cut it off. But they'll get back for a 2nd. 3 back-to-back doubles will close out the power play. This game right in the balance. 6 gone. 54 for 2.
A good spot right now for both sides. If you're the United States, you revere in the fact that you have Sterling sitting in the dugout. But for Ireland, he did a lot of damage before he left. 31 runs to his name. Camphor's come in, scored a couple quick ones. Tucker hasn't gotten it going yet, but still plenty of batting to come for this Irish side.
And take a look at this. This is the real indicator, the barometer of just how different those power plays were. At the end of the power play, USA just 23 for 4, Ireland 54 for 2, but the late acceleration all came at the back end of the innings, not just the second half, but particularly the last third, last quarter of that innings for USA, with the sparkling cameo from Marty Kane in particular, who's going to be brought back into the attack. I think he will enjoy the fact that Paul Sterling's back in the pavilion. He'll stay from the pavilion end, try to turn the ball away from that direction of the wind, but another drag down. He's bowled a few poor ones to start with, 4 more. This time to Tucker, he moves to double figures.
And not the first time we've seen Marty Kane drag one down today. This is about the second or third time it's happened. He's got to find a way to pitch the ball up, get into a length where he has to drive. Don't let him sit back on the back foot and pull these away. Again, as you can see on the replay, it's just too easy. Just stand and deliver right now. It's just old habits.
Yeah, he's bowled 2 really poor deliveries, 2 absolute drag downs down the leg side. Both got dispatched behind square. First one by Sterling. This second one by Tucker. That's better from Kane. Have the additional protection outside the circle now, USA. 5 fielders. At the moment, 2 on the offside, 3 on the leg. And that's where the wind is continuing to blow across the ground to the leg side. Just keeping a little bit low. You can see Camphor loves to pull almost everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, just again, second nature. You go back to what you know the best, and that's exactly what he knows. He knows how to pull the ball. It's just second nature to him.
That's better from Kane. Finally on the money. Not quite sure why the inconsistencies. He's played a lot of cricket this year. A full season for, I think it's the San Diego Surf Riders. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, in minor league cricket. Not too many better named franchises, is there? Is the San Diego Surf Riders correct?
It is the San Diego Surf Riders, and how fitting for Marty Kane. Spend his time in San Diego surfing. He gets to join the San Diego Surf Riders and really play a big part of the success they had in this inaugural season.
Comes off the under edge of the bat. Camphor not getting the bounce that he wants to work with. Good comeback from Kane after that poor first delivery. Just 3 runs from the last 5 balls of the over. Required run rate will come into play. It's going to hover around 10. And Ireland 61 for 2 after 7. So that's the state of the game so far in this first Alphabet USA versus Ireland Men's International Series 2021. You're tuning in to a piece of cricketing history. The game very much in the ascendancy and on the growth here in America, and it's the first time a test nation of any kind have come to these shores to play against USA. They've come before to play against each other. India versus West Indies at this ground, West Indies versus Bangladesh, New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. But that's how much the game is starting to grow in America. The big boy's going to start to come here to the land of hope and glory and take in games against the Stars and Stripes, and they've acquitted themselves really well.
It's a good showing for the U.S. to start off. Shaky to get off with a bat, 16 for 4, but you see the partnership between Singh and Modani was the key, each getting 50s respectively, Singh getting 65, and then Kane's flurry at the end allows for this score to be real respectable and for us to have a real match on our hands here in this historic day of cricket.
Going to be Nisarg Patel to come into the attack from the far end of the ground. Man who's played more and more of a key role with the ball for USA in recent times. He's probably been the pick of this army of left-arm spinners that they have to select from. Nosh Kenjige not in the T20I squad. Of course, Kareem Agor has missed out with his COVID-positive test as well. But Patel, even with those players missing out, has been the pick of the bowlers. And he's actually looked to turn it more than anyone.
And we talk about left-arm spinners in the United States. There's just a plethora of them. Vatsal Vagela sitting right now. He got called up to the squad. We have Sanjay Krishnamurti, who's on the under-19 team as well. A lot of them to choose from for the United States.
There's a reverse sweep from Tucker hitting with the spin. That's a good shot. And Xavier Marshall, who's done a lot of fitness work over the last 18 months, is going to show off that extra yard of pace he's found. I think he's lost something like 15 kilograms over the last couple of years. He's in the shape of his life, and he saves a run for his side there.
Remarkable transformation and a remarkable chase down as well. I think everyone thought that one was running away to the boundary, but not to be for Chamford.
Work down the ground to Marty Kane. USA aren't going to allow this game to drift, or they can't allow this game to drift. They're going to need to find wickets in these middle overs. There's big hitting to come for the visitors. Oh, and I think Nisarg Patel thought that might have caught the glove, but is that a chance that's gone down?
It would have been one of the sharpest catches we've seen out there if it was one of them, but you're exactly right. Have to continue to look to take wickets. Can't go to sleep here in these middle overs.
Misfield in the deep, and it won't allow the second. Ali Khan is, I think that adrenaline's still coursing through his veins, even though he is no longer bowling. He's so pumped up. Get to the end of the 8th over. Ireland going just over 8 and over. It's 67 for 2. Let's take a look at the bowling options for USA. They've grown a bit of a reputation in recent times as constantly using 6, 7, 8, once even 9 bowlers in an ODI this year. Is there anyone else outside of these 5 bowlers that have been used so far that will be brought into the side?
Well, I mean, it feels like it. They just have this reputation of using it. I know Xavier Marshall can come in and bowl a little bit if you wanted to, but I just think these guys make a lot more sense in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I think from looking at USA training, particularly Gajanan Singh with his kind of part-time off breaks might be seen, but unlike some American sides picked in past times, there's less all-rounders than usual, particularly with the absence of Stephen Taylor, who would almost be nailed on to bowl 3 or 4 overs of his off breaks, and Kareem Agor as well. Even Jaskaran Malhotra, who plays for the side that you're based closest to in minor league cricket, he'll be watching on the Morrisville Cardinals. Hopefully we'll see him for the ODIs, but he's been ruled out of the T20I series due to, again, a positive COVID test. Series taking place in the most remarkable of times, really. Feels like we've got another wave of positive cases hitting us, particularly November, December. But the good news is everyone here is going through a test every couple of days. They're getting clear of those, and the series well scheduled to go ahead. Does that make this performance even more impressive, Aman, with the way that USA are missing some of their most reliable internationals?
I think you have to see it as more impressive. Haven't had a lot of time to mesh together, and I know they've played a lot of cricket.
Good reverse sweep from Curtis Camphor again, hitting with the spin, will pick up a couple.
They've played a lot of cricket, yes, but not together. And that meshing as a team is something that you really need. And to see this team come together, support each other the way they have, especially with all the ifs and buts that they've had, the question marks that they've had coming into this historic day, it's very impressive to see this U.S. side.
Yeah, and just 2 training sessions, arguably the most tricky part for the head coach to deal with. So few training sessions that quite a few of the players actually came this morning. Came to the ground at 9:30 a.m. to just get an extra hit in on turf, particularly with a bit of rain that we had yesterday. 9 overs gone now. Ireland 73 for 2. Let's have a look at the Manhattan chart. Look at those massive building blocks towards the end of the American innings. Is that potentially going to be the difference between the sides?
Well, it's definitely what's keeping the U.S. in the match right now. You can see the way Ireland has started off much better than what we saw out of the U.S. team. So it's definitely something to look at, and I think it's definitely something that can really change the game.
And that will bring about a change in commentary. We'll thank Aman Patel for the moment. We'll hear from him, I'm sure, towards the end of this innings. Good work from Xavier Marshall at short third man. I'll welcome back the hardest working man in associate cricket, Peter Della Penna, of ESPN Cricinfo. He's down on the boundary side taking photos. He's in here in the commentary box with me. He's been described as an octopus before by a few people, and his return to the commentary box has brought about a wicket for Nisarg Patel. Curtis Camphor was trying to come down the track. I'm not sure where he was trying to hit that or what he was trying to do, but America have their third, and that's going to delight Peter Della Penna as he comes into the box.
It's going to delight VJ Cricket Club out in Los Angeles, the home of Nisarg Patel. And another breakthrough for USA. Just slowed up the pace a little bit in the air, give it a touch more flight. Usually somebody who darts it in a bit quicker, but we saw USA's batters using the windy conditions to their advantage very cleverly in there. Nisarg using the wind to his advantage as a bowler. Saw Yasser Muhammad struggle a little bit bowling with the windy conditions, but Nisarg showing his experience there.
And yeah, it's going to bring Shane Getgate to the crease, the big hitting middle order power hitter. We didn't see any of his right arm seam today, just the 5 bowlers used for Ireland and just the 5 bowlers used so far for USA. Very unlike America in recent times. But the 3 spinners at their disposal, one of them has made the breakthrough. It's been the pick of the spinners in the 2021 season for America. No surprise to see Nisarg Patel find that wicket. And from watching training over the last few days, it was the following order of the biggest bombs. Paul Sterling, then Shane Getgate, then Marty Kane. He's a big, big striker. Shane Getgate.
He was definitely enjoying the windy conditions when Ireland had their net session in the center wicket practice in the late afternoon a couple days ago. Getting accustomed to the wicket here in Lauderhill. It's been windy all day, Lenny, and it's getting very cold out there as the sun is setting. Turned around from where I was taking pictures on the boundary, and I saw the Irish bench. William Porterfield. He's got a full tracksuit on. Long sleeves, long pants. It's chilly out there.
Half an appeal. I think an inside edge just onto the pad will mean that Tucker will survive. A really good over, though, from Nisarg Patel. Has maybe just at the halfway stage of the chase given USA the advantage. It's 74 for 3. Well, I will tell you something. It's certainly a lot warmer here in Florida even now, Peter, than it would be back in Donamana in the northwest of Ireland, where William Porterfield grew up and played his club cricket. Now lives across in Liverpool in the United Kingdom.
Now, Ireland might look like they're behind the required run rates, already more than 10 per over required, but you have to remember in the first innings, USA got a very sluggish start. They were 51 for 4 after 10. They managed to score 137 in their last 10 overs. So, not to beat a dead horse here, but with the wind the way it is at this ground, you can make up the run rate awfully quickly if you can use the wind to your advantage.
Nicely bowled by Kane, hidden away outside the off stump. He's not going to want to allow Getgate to access that leg side where he will be hitting with the wind. And he's into his final over, wicketless so far. That's into the hitting arc. And has he got enough of it? Getgate, he has. I don't think he got anything like all of that. But as soon as he got it up, the wind has taken it and carried it over the rope for his first maximum.
Well, off the bat, his heart might have been in his throat a little bit. Looked like it was not only not off the middle, it looked like it was straight off the toe. Nowhere close to the middle. But the wind, the way it is here in Lauderhill today, all you have to do is get the slightest elevation, and it helped it on its way.
Tries to repeat the dose into the leg side, but nothing like the middle of the bat that time, just cloths it for a single. Tucker 19 off 22, really struggled against Ali Khan. And is that USA's trump card, the fact they'll have 2 Ali Khan overs at the death to maybe close out what would be a historic win?
Well, not just that, but the experience that he has at this facility. This is one of his favorite grounds, playing here in Lauderhill. He plays in the U.S. Open every single year. He captained the U.S. All-Stars team in the U.S. Open this year. This is where he was discovered by Dwayne Bravo. Got him recognized into the Winnipeg Hawks side in the Global T20 Canada, and then to Trinbago Knight Riders, and then parlayed that into Kolkata Knight Riders. This is where it all started for Ali Khan, essentially. So he's got just as much, if not more, experience at this ground than any bowler here. And he'll have to use all that experience in the death overs.
Yeah, it just feels like it's brewing up to be a classic finish to give the fans exactly what they would love. They've come in good numbers, 300 or 400 of them already in through the gates. Biggest crowd of the week expected tomorrow night. I think well over 500 tickets already sold for the Thursday night game. That'll be under floodlights at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. And Getgate showing that he's happy to hit it through the offside as well. We'll pick up a single to close out the 11th over. The score is 85 for 3 now. Peter, when we look here at the bowling figures, it's the rarest of things that we see USA use just 5 bowlers. Is that what will be the case today if they come in with a much better game plan than they sometimes do?
Well, Yasir Muhammad looked a little bit nervous bowling his leg spin that first over. And just observing his mannerisms on the boundary, he just looked like he was a bundle of nerves. And so I don't think he'll bowl much further today, but USA has quite a number of options at their disposal. Could see Gajanan bowl some off breaks. You could see Sushant Madani do the same.
Yeah, Ireland stuck rigidly to their plan of just 5 bowlers. But without Kareem Magor, without Stephen Taylor, this USA lineup doesn't have the same flexibility. Even Aaron Jones with his leg breaks, all 3 of those players missing. I was asking Amand before you were on, Peter, that makes this performance by America, this highly competitive performance, all the more amazing.
USA showing their depth down the order with that finish that Marty Kane produced.
Reverse sweep attempted by Tucker, no contact made.
I think the concern, though, even though USA does have bowling options, is the fact that, like you said, the lack of experience in some of those options, not having Kareem Magor, not having Stephen Taylor. Will they be caught out on that 5th, 6th bowling option when it gets to the 16th, 17th, 18th over?
Hit into the sky. Is this going to be a chance at long off? No, it's not. It's going to go over the head, land on the concrete strip, and we've got some youngsters sprinting after a ball. They've got a big chase in the offering. That's the power of Getgate. It was only fractionally full from Patel, and Getgate didn't look like he got all of it at first, but it just kept going the second 6 of his innings.
Again, it just shows how true the pitch is. Nisarg Patel just erring ever so slightly, over pitching it, and you can just strike clean through the line on this wicket that Samuel Plummer produces. Very true bounce. Pongos it over the long off rope. Another name I didn't mention, Lenny Ritwick Behera, bowls very, very good off spin. He's the closest to being a copycat of Stephen Taylor on this side. No, he was a bit nervous in his batting innings today, out for a duck, but he's a very powerful strike of the ball and bowls very, very tight off spin. So he's another option who could be utilized by USA in the middle phase of this innings.
Patel just taking his time, maybe a little bit of damage done to that ball off the concrete. Darts it in and nearly gets a caught and bowl chance. You can see Getgate, he's trying to keep Ireland up with that rate. It had just gone to exactly 2 a ball before that 6. And he's going to need to be batting probably the guts of this remaining 8 overs or so to give Ireland a good chance of chasing down this total. Clever from Patel, just darts it in, but a real poor misfield from Ryan Scott's going to cost a couple of runs. So rather than closing his over out with the dot, Scott will get stared at with the double teapot. And Nisarg Patel has 1 for 18. 3 overs gone for him. It's 96 for 3. Here's the Irish batting card so far. William McClintock will certainly be in at number 6, and then it will be a case of whether or not they want to go Neil Rock or Simi Singh at 7. It will probably be the left-handed Neil Rock at 7, Simi Singh at 8, Simi Singh at 8, yeah, Mark Adair at 9, Barry McCarthy at 10, and Ben White down at legs 11. There is power hitting to come. Are USA thinking if they can get gate here, they'll be able to close out this win?
Well, they're willing to burn one of Saurabh Netravalkar's 2 remaining overs to take that gamble. He's the other part of the death bowling tandem that you would expect USA to utilize alongside Ali Khan, but being brought back here in the 13th over, Monak Patel trying to stun any momentum Ireland is building here. Big moment in the match.
Yeah, the experience of Netravalkar, Ali Khan and Nisarg Patel is very much in contrast to the other bowling options, particularly internationally for USA, although Kane has bowled out his 4 overs on debut. And that's picked up. Has he got enough of it though? He hasn't. The change to Netravalkar works, and Ritwik Behra has taken the catch. He had to fall onto his backside, and I think a big sigh of relief. More cheers and roars to the home crowd feel that's the wicket they need to put them right on top and maybe get them closer towards victory.
Well, one of the other great things about all the new energy inserted into this lineup today is the increased fielding standards. You see out of these teenagers in the USA squad, Ritwik Behra out of Maryland. Cool as a cucumber on the rope, settled himself 3 yards inside. Soft hands used his body to cushion the catch, to take some of the mustard off of it, and holds on, following up the catch earlier from Yasser Muhammad. The teenagers doing it on the boundary for USA today.
Yeah, 2 very nervy young men who were literally sitting on their couch. Look at this reaction in the background. The fans, the American fans, they loved it. But also it was right in front of some of the Irish wives and girlfriends, which includes Gabby Lewis out here, star of the women's game. Look at her reaction to this. She wasn't happy at all. The arms are crossed, and she knows how big a moment that is. There she is on the left of those for one of the stars of the women's game, partner of Harry Tector, who's back in the hotel. Delight for USA. They have their 4th. And the pendulum swings again back towards the Americans, the home side. So it's not going to be William McClintock at number 6. Thuds into the pad, surely angling down the leg side and going over the top. Not a lot going for that shout. Have they gone with Rock particularly to give Ireland the left-hand, right-hand combination and allow him to target the win from the other end of the ground?
Well, that's the percentage play. If you're following the playbook that USA utilized in the first innings to always try and have a left-hand, right-hand combo, keep the bowlers off balance in terms of their lines, especially with the wind conditions.
Brilliant again from Netravalkar, making such good use of that angle back into the right-handers. Seeing all the comments flying around social media, some people just saying this shows everything about how competitive the game is, maybe from the sides ranked, let's say, 7th in the world all the way down to maybe 35th in the world.
Well, as I said, if you go back to 2010, USA chasing a total of, I think, 184, 185, were 20 for 7 against Ireland at the T20 World Cup qualifier. but every successive opportunity they've had to play Ireland in T20 cricket, they've closed the gap. They've closed it even further today.
Tucker looks for that slog sweep again, not out of the middle. He'll just get a single into the leg side. And of course, remember the last time Ireland played against Canada, that was the T20 World Cup qualifier back in 2019, the traditional rival of USA. Canada came out on top there in Abu Dhabi.
Nitish Kumar, man of the match, with a half century. He was in red-hot form in that tournament, collected 3 Player of the Match awards, and one of those came in the victory over Ireland. And the disappointing thing about that event is that in spite of the victory over Ireland, Canada, I believe, started that event 3-0 and then failed to progress to the T20 World Cup. It had such an amazing platform, and then they just couldn't seal the deal. But that shows the competitiveness of the Americas region, and as you said, Lenny, associate cricket as a whole.
Sorry, with all my excitement in the box, I'm dropping my microphone. That's how much drama we're witnessing here. And we get towards the end of the 13th over. Big moment as well. Because Ireland took that long to bowl their overs, the backup plan is having to come into play. The floodlights have been turned on. This isn't a day-night game. It was never intended to be a day-night game. It's supposed to have finished within about 3 hours. But Ireland took, I think, nearly an hour and 40 minutes to bowl their overs, and those floodlights will come into play. It's 4:50 local time here.
Once you get to about 5 o'clock in South Florida in December, the sun and the light goes down very, very quickly. Even though sunset officially isn't for another half hour or so, the stands as high as they are in the grandstand and the sun disappearing over them to the west, it's quite often you do see the floodlights come on after 4:30.
Big hit into the leg side. Tucker gets this. Finally, he hasn't got many out of the middle. He eventually gets his strike rate up above a run of ball, and Netravalkar couldn't close out what was a brilliant over. He does go for the maximum. The 100 comes up at the end of the 13th over. Ireland going exactly 8 and over. They're going to need more than 2 a ball, though. We're in for a thrilling finish. 104 for 4. Yeah, great strike this time from Tucker. He has had his battles. The big question here for USA, we keep talking about it, who is going to bowl these remaining overs? They're going to continue to use their most experienced bowlers now. Nisarg Patel will be done after this over. And Yasir Mohammed has only bowled 1 over so far. Where will they turn?
Well, I'm a bit surprised, actually. They haven't tried Ritwik Behera with the left-hander on strike. This would be the perfect opportunity to start the over with the off-spinner, get him into the attack. Maybe a missed opportunity for USA.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I thought that surely this was the time to go with the off-spinner. Floodlights just adding to the spectacle here in South Florida. It's a wonderful facility, this, as well, isn't it? Multi-use, of course. There's some soccer played here, but when it's turned into a cricket ground like today, it's a stunning scene.
Opened in 2008, and there's been an awful lot of full-member cricket with visits by Sri Lanka, New Zealand, West Indies, India, Bangladesh, now Ireland. But the first time that USA is playing a full member.
Mix-up. And also, I think a little bit of a mix-up between Tucker and Rock identifying who the fielder is. Marty Kane, probably the pick, of all of the 11 American fielders on the pitch.
Stiff competition with a number of elite fielders coming into this side, and he's one of them.
Big swing attempted from Neil Rock. It's come off the under edge. He's going to get a boundary, not where he intended to hit it. Despite Xavier Marshall's impressive chase, 4 to Rock. He was looking for the slog sweep, came off the under edge. How did this miss the stumps?
Well, this is the gamble that Ireland is going to have to take. Again, the left-hander is trying to access the leg side from the southern end, the pavilion end. And fine leg has been a very high traffic scoring zone throughout the day. Lenny, once again, Rock just getting an inside edge through the legs.
Back live with you now. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that actually missed the stumps. We'll get that camera patched up for you, just reacting to the floodlights a touch there.
That's the unintentional nutmeg by Neil Rock. Said earlier, first time USA playing a full member in T20Is on home soil. They have played full members before, famously in the 2004 Champions Trophy in England against New Zealand and Australia on that occasion. But first time on home soil.
Reverse sweep from Tucker, but there's 3 fielders posted there. Not too sure why he's looking for that shot. Be a quick single. This game, you compare it to the 2004 Champions Trophy appearances, just a touch more competitive than those heavy defeats to Australia and New Zealand for USA.
Well, and also the makeup of the squad. On that occasion, I think they had 6 players in the squad who were over the age of 40, an average age of around 37 or 38.
Big shot. Has he picked out the man? He has, and it's been held on to. I thought just for a moment he might have fumbled it. It's Ritwik Behera again. The first one he fell onto his backside, and the decision to keep Patel on has worked. Just a stumble after he took the catch, but he did cling on. And Ireland have lost half their side.
What a difference it makes when you don't have an average age touching 40, Lenny. You get young legs, young hands in the squad. Ritwik Behera didn't score anything off the bat, hasn't bowled a ball yet, but he's made a significant impact with his catching on the boundary. First, a few overs ago, and now again at long on to get Neil Rock. So the youngster out of Maryland doing his home state proud. There's an awful lot of fans in Maryland who will be rallying around the cry, "Fear the turtle, the Terrapins, the University of Maryland." That's their college logo. And Fear in USA today here in Lauderhill. Ritwik Behera bringing the Maryland magic.
I was just about to say, you're going to have to explain that one to me, Peter, but you've done it anyway. I had no idea at all what you were talking about. But there you are. Now, USA, they continue to gamble. And the reason they're gambling, if we look at their bowling figures very quickly, we're going to see that this is Saurav Netravalkar's last over. Marty Kane's already bowled out. Nisarg Patel has bowled out. Brilliant figures for him of 2 for 26. But after this, it now means that mathematically they're going to have to go to a 6th over, maybe even a 7th one. 7th bowler, that is, correction. But Netravalkar's going to come over the wicket to Tucker. I'll also say, I think from an Irish perspective, the entrance of McClintock at number 7 is the last chance saloon for them. He is a big, powerful hitter of the ball. He can clear the ropes comfortably, but he's going to need to.
I like this from Monank Patel. So often you see textbook captaincy, rote captaincy, where you decide, Saurav Netravalkar, he's our designated death bowler. We're going to save him until 17 and 19. Ali Khan, 18 and 20. He's trying to kill off the game here. He sees the opening, and he's trying to capitalize on it.
Tucker just checks that down into the leg side. Will just be a single. This could be a defining innings in McClintock's young international career. Just a couple of appearances against Zimbabwe where he made his debut up in his beloved Northwest. He had a brilliant under-19 World Cup campaign, but it's been his impact for the Northwest Warriors in the interprovincial game over the course of the last 12 to 18 months that has put him into the reckoning for the Irish senior side for the first time. Loves going over the leg side. This one thuds into the pad. Will be given as a leg bye. That required run rate, Peter, starting to get out of hand for Ireland.
But again, you look at USA's innings. After 15 overs, USA was 116 for 4. They had that century partnership, but really the last 5 overs is where they went crazy. 72 runs off the last 5. The Ireland bowling some poor lines. Can USA stay disciplined?
Worked into the leg side for what's just going to be a single. And every single ball where Ireland aren't getting more than 2 now, that required run rate's going to go up.
This is what Monank Patel is going for, trying to build up pressure through the rise to the required run rate. It's another reason to bring on Netravalkar now. He bowls dot balls. He can stifle the scoring rate. And if you leave the last couple overs to one of the teenagers, Yasser Muhammad, Ritwik Behera, you would hope, from the USA perspective, even a nervous teenager could defend 20 and over.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Peter. I don't think there's any other seam bowling options within this American side. So we're going to see definitely the 2 overs of Ali Khan in the last 5. But we'll also see 3 overs of spin.
My money is on Ritwik Behera. If you needed wickets desperately, you would bring on a leg spinner like Yasser Muhammad. But with the run rate so high, the natural pressure that's there from the required run rate, you can bring on an off spinner like Ritwik Behera. You don't need a leg spinner to search for wickets.
Brilliant bowling from Sarav Netravalkar. That's an outstanding spell. He's going to finish with 4 overs, 2 for 27. And it's put USA further on top. I think Peter Della Penna is going to leave me to go out and capture what could be historic moments and what could be a first win on home soil for USA over a test nation in this T20 International Series. The first of 2 T20 Internationals. The second one tomorrow under full floodlights starts at 7 p.m. local time. That'll be midnight back in Ireland. They'll be burning the midnight oil. I'll welcome back Aman Patel to join me for the final quarter of this innings. Aman, how are the nerves? 73 to win off 30 for Ireland. It's a huge task for them. Are USA taking this match?
You would sure hope so, but you talk about 3 overs of spin. I think that's going to be the key here, and it's Yasser Muhammad getting it.
And also, the shadows are now coming right over the wicket. Sun dipping ever lower. We've still got 5 overs left, and this game is already gone for 3 hours.
And you start to think about the shadow, the sun going down, it's Florida humidity. Does the dew factor start to come in? Does Ireland get a break as well? Can Yasser even grip the ball?
Hit over the offside. Has he picked out the man? Not quite. That's the power of McClintock. It was only a check drive, a half hit. It's nearly gone all the way to the man on the rope.
Good thing for the United States, Yasser bowling a much better length. Hasn't had any short. It's been all full, all in the driving length. And yes, we saw McClintock almost take one over, but you'd rather him bowl there than anything short.
Yeah, so Mohammed's bowling the 16th, but who's going to bowl the last 4? Some speculating Sushant Madani, maybe Ritwik Behera. Right into the block hole, well bowled this time by Mohammed. It's an ungainly action for a leg spinner, a little bit almost off the wrong foot.
And like we said earlier, he's a converted leg spinner. Started out pace, but right in the block hole. Took away the width that time, Yasser.
But he's doing exactly the job that his captain needs. Back-to-back dots. Look at that required run rate. It's into the last throws, the last roll of the dice here for Ireland. 16 and over needed. How good a performance has this been, particularly from the position with which they were, missing 3 or 4 of their very best known players. Jaskaran Malhotra, Kareem Agor, Stephen Taylor, Aaron Jones are all not here. They were 16 for 4. They've somehow made 188. And USA very much look like, with 4 overs to go after this one, they're going to close this win out.
They most definitely do, and it's a very impressive. If they are able to cross the line, it'll be a very impressive win. Because again, you talk about the inexperience coming in with Yasser and Ritwik. Ritwik, who also got something with the bat. They didn't have the flurry of a start from Monang Patel or Ryan Scott, but they got what they needed. People stepped up in big moments, and they look like they're about to cross the finish line.
Yeah, they're the 5 bowlers used so far. Slightly miscalculated my numbers. We aren't definitely going to see a 6th bowler. We could, in theory, see Yasser Mohammed bowl the 18th and 20th, but I suspect it's going to be Ali Khan. In fact, Ali Khan's going to bowl this the 17th. He's going to have a change of end, so maybe they're going to trust the youngster. They're going to trust the young leg spinner to bowl 2 of the last 3 overs of the match.
Well, they picked him for a reason. He didn't get an opportunity with the bat. He's a big hitter. And now they're saying here with the ball, it's a high-risk move. They like to say high risk, high reward. But sometimes the risk isn't what you think it's going to be. You can see a lot darker on the field, the shadows moving in. Let's see what Ali Khan has in this over.
You could almost write it, couldn't you? Ali Khan to Lorcan Tucker. Tucker has been trying to take on Khan, but he hasn't got near him. And Muhammad Ali Khan is showing all his class, all his experience. But he doesn't need to do anything special here. If he keeps it to even 8, 9, 10, 11 runs from his 2 final overs, USA are going to have such a cushion. It's 66 to win off 23. Ireland haven't hit a boundary for at least 2 or 3 overs now, and they're staring down the barrel of a remarkable defeat. It's going to go to the block hole, but singles are not enough for Ireland.
Absolutely, and Ali Khan knows. You can see he's just strutting in and then going to the Yorker. He trusts it. They call him the Yorker King for a reason. And again, from the depths of 16 for the loss of 4 to this point in the match where Ireland are going to need more than 17 runs and over, it's just an exceptional comeback here from the United States.
Yeah, the last boundary back in the 14th over off Nisarg Patel. There's the block hole. It is going to be another boundary. 1 bounce 4. Ireland need maximums though as well. Just missing the block hole. 2 full that time. The extra pace, it races away for 4. Is that the spark to get Ireland going?
Well, it's definitely got to be one of them. It was just a full toss down the leg side and it was helped along its way. They're going to need a couple more shots like that. I thought on the previous delivery they missed out on what could have been a full toss. They're going to need more of that. Again, you can see the sun setting. It's getting a little bit darker out there on the field. Ireland need to get a move on.
Yeah, and you can see from that ground side shot just how dark it is. And look at the tail in from Ali Khan, looking for the block hole again. Not a lot that Tucker can do with that. Even the low full toss is a difficult delivery to get away with the pace that Ali Khan has.
And that's what makes him so exceptional. His pace allows him to do these kinds of things. Or even if he misses, he still rushes you. He still doesn't allow you to hit the shot you want to hit. And it gets to be frustrating. As Tucker, it's had a painstaking innings. And it started with Ali Khan. And it looks like it's going to end with him as well.
What can McClintock produce for Ireland? Well, there's not a lot you can do with that. They're going to try and scamper a bye. They will get through. That is world-class bowling of the very highest quality from that man, Muhammad Ali Khan.
You said it earlier, the Yorker King, and he displayed why right there. An excellent delivery. And you can see he's just a little bit calmer now. I think he understands the situation. And he's just letting it rip. This is just the hard work, the talent, everything that everyone has seen on a world stage. They're seeing it now against a test nation here. Ali Khan, he's leading the charge for the United States.
The paddle scoop shot from Tucker is picked up, but not enough to get to the boundary. It's going to leave Ireland the incredibly tall task. 57 off 18 and still 1 over of Ali Khan remaining. USA, they can sense victory. They can see the finish line. But are they going to get over it? Or are they going to stumble at the very final hurdle?
Well, the final hurdle becomes who do you bowl? Who do you give this over? And then the 20th over to? Do they go with Yasir Muhammad? Do they try to bring in someone brand new? This is the question Monak Patel has to give and has to answer.
I never thought that with all the options, bowling options for Ireland and for USA, that we'd see both sides use just 5 bowlers. But that may well be the case now, because the USA selectors have backed youth, and now the Team USA captain Monank Patel is backing youth. He's saying, we've picked you on merit. You're in this team for a reason. And just like Rashid Khan does so often with his leg breaks, whether it be for the Adelaide Strikers or in the IPL or for Afghanistan, he'll end up bowling the tail end of the innings, and they're going to back the young leg spinner. Big moment for this young man.
It absolutely is, and you could sense early there was a little bit of pressure. You could feel it, but now he feels a little bit loose. He feels free. He looks like he's in that confident state that Yasir has always possessed, and why he's been selected is that confidence he has. And it feels like he's found it with that previous over. Let's see if that can carry over into this one.
Yeah, you can sense the air of tension as well. USA know they're not done yet. It's exactly 3 a ball needed with that wide now, so it's going to be, or a little bit more than that, 56 off 18. Don't rule out a super over just yet if McClintock can get after Mohammed here. He does like hitting it inside out over extra cover, so that's going to be an option for him, but there's a man out there. Can only get it down the ground to long off, and he won't be able to get back for the second. 8 off 11 at this stage of the game is not what you need.
No, it's not what you need, but also you got to give credit to what Yasser just bowled there. He put it in really a block hole. He saw the movement early, checked him, and didn't give him much room to go inside out on it.
Attempted slog sweep and some turn. We haven't seen much turn. That's beautifully bowled. Backing his skills, and Tucker can't make any contact. Even if he had got that, he's probably not going to get it all the way for 6. Good. Really good bowling that. Hiding it away outside the off stump, trusting his leg break. This time the googly, don't think Tucker's picked it. It's flicked off the pad, and Ireland are nowhere here. Doesn't look to me like they're going to just be beaten. They're going to be beaten by a margin.
Absolutely, and again, the variation Yasser has started to pick up, and you could see these previous 2 deliveries turning a lot more than what we've seen. So some signs of turn, not great for Ireland.
There's the googly again, not picked. The reason that one's not out, if it was the leg break, it probably would have gone on to hit middle or off. But because he bowls off the wrong foot, it makes the googly very difficult to pick. There's no real change of action. He's trusted his googly. I saw him in the nets yesterday with Jagadish Arankumar, the head coach. He said, bowl 3 googlies, 3 leg breaks every over, mix it up. That time the leg break cut away for just a single. Would you believe it? There's been just 4 runs off this over so far. And if Mohammed can close this one out, they really are on the brink now.
Absolutely, and when you think about still an over to come from Ali Khan, you just can't imagine the USA throwing it from here.
Again, no timing at all. I spoke about Yasser Mohammed's spell of leg spin. If he could out-bowl Ben White, and he's doing that right now. He's still got 1 over to go. Ireland, they need snookers, because they need 52 to tie, 53 to win off just 12 balls. I can't see it happening. The USA are going to get off to the most remarkable start. This is quite unbelievable.
It truly is unbelievable, and as you mentioned, they're going to need some high nasty bombs in Rory McIlroy fashion. Send some over the rope for these next 12 deliveries if they want any shot to get back into it.
Well, I believe, and I think one of my friends listening back home will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Rory McIlroy now lives permanently in Florida. So the local Florida resident, they need him out there with the driver. They need to get a few 300-yard bombs going. But it's just not going to happen, because Muhammad Ali Khan has proved why he is so in demand all around the world game, even with the misfield from Ryan Scott that will allow them to get back for a second. Things like that aren't going to matter. Unless there's maximums, and maximums now, this game is done.
That's like giving Rory McIlroy a wiffle ball and saying, hit that one 300 yards. Right in the block hole, perfectly bowled there. And Ali Khan just displaying his class. And as you mentioned, this match, it feels all but over.
Yeah, again, it's outside our soundproofed box, but you can hear the crowd. They're chanting. They're getting more and more into it. Right into the block hole again. Even the ones he's missing with those low full tosses, they're only going for 1s or 2s. This is all over, she wrote. USA are going to taste that sweet victory. Who would have predicted this? Shorn of arguably 4 of their most experienced players. Jaskaran Malhotra, he's not here. Stephen Taylor, the high-scoring all-rounder, he's not here. Aaron Jones, the vice-captain, he's not here. Kareem Agor, one of the best fielders in the world of associate cricket, he's not here. But without them, they've said it doesn't matter. We'll call up the youngsters and we're still going to take the win over Ireland. And look at this for bowling. Muhammad Ali Khan, he's pumped. He has been simply world-class. Full, straight, sharp, and too good for William McClintock.
And you said it, too good. This last spell just has been too good. The opening spell, bowled terrific, and now the Yorkers galore. The Yorker King reigns supreme, and he's reigning all over Ireland at the moment. Just look at this. You can't really see it, and now you see that one, but my goodness me, the Yorker King is reigning right now.
Isn't he just? Muhammad Ali Khan. Here's one more look at it from a better angle. Full, rapid, and look at the in-swing. That's what makes that dismissal so good. That has landed right about where the normal right foot of a batter would stand if he's on a leg stump guard. It's almost unplayable, and it's simply brilliant from the man from Ohio who's made such a name for himself. The first ever American to play in the Indian Premier League. He's played all the way around the world in the CPL, in the PSL, and everywhere he goes he's such an asset, probably no more so than in the Caribbean for those Trinbago Knight Riders. Ireland are not just being beaten here, they're being out of sight, and being beaten out of sight even. They're being hammered. This is a momentous day for American cricket.
And it looked like it would have been the opposite, the way it started for Ireland. 16 for 4. You're talking about 4 guys for the United States not here. And now to this, Ireland, they've got to go back to the drawing board because they're just getting rocked right now.
You were lost for words for a moment. You didn't know what to say there, man, did you? Shell-shocked, my commentator next to me. America, they have been amazing, in fairness, the way they've performed to turn things around from 16 for 4 with all the difficulties they've had, missing all those players, just 2 training sessions in advance. Yes, they do have home advantage, but in many ways things had gone more to plan for Ireland. They'd been out here earlier. And look at this scoreboard. We're going to bring it up on screen here now. This game is now done, unless the final 8 balls all go for 6. And that, my friend, is not going to happen. It's all over. It's a victory parade. It's a victory walk. It's a cakewalk now for America. Lorcan Tucker hits this one into the offside. It's going to go all the way for 6. He's going to need 7 more of them. In fact, he's going to need 1 more of them, and then Adair will have to do a Jaskaran Malhotra, and they just get there. Tucker goes to 50. It's been a battling innings. It hasn't been fluent, but he has got there. 53 coming off 45 deliveries. That probably the best shot of his innings.
As you said, not fluent. It was very painstaking, and this is definitely the shot of Tucker's innings. He's tried a couple innovative ones, but the more conventional uppercut, it goes all the way for 6. Ali Khan going away from the Yorker for 1 ball, gets hit for 6. And do we hear commentators curse? I'm not sure about that. I don't think 7 6s are coming. But talk about getting to the right foot here for the United States.
Thuds into the pad. No contact made. Tucker will keep the strike, but the game is over. Yasir Mohammed could do what Dan Van Bunga did back in 2007 against Herschel Gibbs, or he could do what Stuart Broad did against Yuvraj Singh the same year, or Akila Dhananjaya against Kyron Pollard in 2021 at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, or this year Jaskaran Malhotra did it off the medium pace of Aggie Morea, and it won't matter because USA would still take the win. They'd win by 4 runs. I think they're going to win by a lot more than that. And the youngster is going to get the chance to close this win out. I think that's exactly what he deserves. A big statement from USA, not just with the performance, but they're dancing in the stands, and they're dancing for a reason. And look at that youngster in the front row. Let's see if we can stay on her in the pink shirt there. She doesn't know it. She might not remember it in years to come, but she has witnessed history.
It's unreal, and again, the youth is so exciting here for the United States.
Yeah, Lorcan Tucker, I'm afraid, will probably just close out this innings, not out. It's a stunning scene. The sun is setting across to our left. The floodlights are on, and I'm not sure anyone in their cricketing wisdom could have predicted this. Not just a win for USA, but a big win. Come on, man. You're the local man here. I've come across the Atlantic Ocean. My loyalties are split. I don't know who I'm cheering for. But what about you? How are you feeling right now?
I don't think in my wildest dreams I could have imagined this one. And you said it. There's no one in their wisdom that could have done it. And to see Yasir Mohammed, the man I've played cricket with here in the States, finish it off, it's just so exceptional.
He almost finishes it off with a maiden wicket as well. He'd probably deserve it the way he bowls. The way he's bowled today even. And you could see in the background as well, the celebrations weren't premature. I saw Kirk Higgins, the USA team manager, greeting Kirk Greaves, the match manager here on the ground today who works for USA Cricket. They say never celebrate too early, never do what Canada did, but Yasser Mohammed can do what he wants now. This game is done, and realistically, Ireland have shown, since the dismissal of Shane Getgate, nothing like the ability to hit 4s or 6s.
Yeah, the boundaries just haven't flown for them, and it's just remarkable. And again, you throw your hats off to Ali Khan, Nisrat Patel, Yasser Mohammed. You throw it to those guys as this one's played through the leg side. Again, boundaries not easy to come by.
Yeah, no sense of rhythm, of timing. Don't know if the pitch has got any worse or any better. Maybe the sun coming into play a little bit. Maybe difficult with the floodlights coming on. It'll be the exact same for both sides tomorrow. 7 p.m. start. If USA can win that, they'll take the series win. Best Ireland can do now is split the series. Is Yasser Mohammed going to get a first wicket? He won't, because the last death throws for Ireland will get a maximum from Mark Adair, but it's too little too late. USA have triumphed, and they've won by 27 runs. A comfortable victory built around a quite brilliant innings from Gajanand Singh, a good knock from Sushant Madani, a late cameo from Marty Kane, and then the brilliance of Muhammad Ali Khan, Saurav Netravalkar and Nisarg Patel. But don't rule out the youngster, Yasser Mohammed. He may have none for 35 on the scorecard, but he's done a brilliant job. And USA, it's a historic series, and they've taken the most unbelievable, the most brilliant, the most historic of wins over the Test nation Ireland. Ireland ranked 15 places higher than America, ranked 30th in the world. They've torn up the form book, and they've made history.
And made history as the world, and I think they put the world on notice. They had a great run in Antigua, and everyone wanted to see, could they replicate that against this kind of competition? And not only did they replicate wins, they win in a massive way. You handed out to all the guys who came in and played. Only 2 practice sessions, down 4 of their best players, 4 early wickets. This is a win for the ages for the United States in historic fashion.
The messages flooding in from back in Ireland. I don't think the Irish fans can believe it. Their side looked shell-shocked in the field as Gajanand Singh began that blitz. But look at this. But look at the joy, the historic scenes for USA. The sides are greeting themselves with warm warmth, but realistically, this is an Irish side that cannot believe what's just happened to them.
And I don't think anyone in the world can believe what happened to him. Because, again, you start out 16 for 4. You look so dominating. And even with the 188, you expect Ireland to come in and put up a fight. This game wasn't even close. The claim was not even close. And that is the real shocking part about it.
And look at this. The USA, I said they were on a victory lap. They're quite literally doing it now. The fans are delighted. The home fans are in. And they've witnessed something very special indeed. Ireland beaten at a canter by a remarkably brilliant performance from USA. Let's take a look at the Irish batting card. Peter Della Penna is going to have plenty of photos for his history books. Lorcan Tucker, the best effort with the bat for Ireland. 57 not out for him, but the strike rate with which they came at, not enough. Paul Sterling, his brilliance, 31 off 15. But the rest of the batters, with the exception of Getgate with those 2 maximums, not a lot to cheer about. Aman Patel, what about the bowlers? Ali Khan, different gravy.
Different gravy indeed, just in a different class today. You look at what he did, 4 overs, 30 runs, and 2 wickets. You also talk about Saurav Netravalkar. Don't overlook his 2 wickets as well, because he had 2 of the biggest ones. Getting Paul Sterling for just 27 runs in 4 overs, and Yasser Mohammed, 4 overs, 35 runs. Had a great spell in the end.
And that is the match summary. As we pan out, we look, post-match presentation getting ready. Make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll bring that to you in just a couple of moments. One thing is for certain, USA have gone 1-0 up in this series. They've taken the win by 27 runs. It's going to be a tight call for the player of the match. Stay with us to find out from here in the commentary box. That's it for now. We'll be back here from both captains and the player of the match in just a couple of minutes' time. They were in all sorts of trouble, but they pulled it out with the bat in the second half of their innings, and they've ended up taking a comfortable win over Ireland to get off to the perfect start and make history here in Florida. We'll hear from both captains, and we'll also announce the player of the match in a few moments. I'd like to call first upon the losing captain. That's Andrew Balbirnie of Ireland. Andy, really difficult day for you and your side, but it all started so brilliantly. America were 16 for 4 and in real trouble when they were batting.
Yeah, started really well, but pretty much from there on it was pretty brutal stuff from us. Not good enough. Rustiness maybe, but we can't afford to start like that. First game, we've got to start better, and we know that. The guys are obviously disappointed, but we've got to turn around tomorrow.
It was a brilliant spell from Barry McCarthy. You went with the additional, the third over, and he found that third wicket to reduce America for 16 for 4. But after that, nothing really seemed to go right with the ball.
Yeah, we knew it was a pretty good wicket, and we'd have to work hard for the 10 wickets if we wanted to get them. I thought it was pretty similar when they bowled. But yeah, we just didn't create enough chances. We didn't bowl well enough. They played brilliantly, I have to say, but we gave them a lot of bad balls to hit as well, which is disappointing. So, like I said, we don't have long to regroup. We've got to do it and get out here tomorrow.
Those two left-handers for USA, Gajanan Singh and then the late cameo from Marty Kane, they were spectacular innings, some of the strokes from Gajanan Singh in particular. Were you expecting the American side, the batters, to be of this quality with all the players that they were missing?
Yeah, that's obviously the disappointing thing from us is they were missing so many players, but the guys came in and had clear plans and hit the ball really well, and we were just a bit off with the ball, and you can't afford to be that off with the ball when you're playing international teams, and certainly we know a lot more about them now than we did earlier, and we'll hopefully put some plans in tomorrow.
Finally, with the bat, Paul Sterling got off to his usual rocketing start, and there was some good stuff from Lorcan Tucker and a brief cameo from Getgate, but again, nobody else really seemed to stand up.
Yeah, and that's the disappointing thing. It was a pretty good wicket for the 40 overs. The intent was there, but we just didn't execute maybe as well as we wanted to. Lorcan played pretty well there, batting at 3 for the first time, and Sterling got us off to that start, but yeah, just not good enough today, and we deserve to lose.
Andy, hard luck today. Best of luck coming back and trying to square the series tomorrow evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, very disappointed, understandably. Andy Balbirnie, his side gone down to defeat to USA. Going to be a contrasting feeling and a contrasting emotion for Mayank Patel, the USA captain, going to come in and join me. Mayank, you told me last night that you had a good feeling about this series. You felt that you were not just going to be value for 1 or 2 wins, but maybe even a series victory in either of the 2 formats. This has been the perfect start.
Yeah, definitely. We've been in a good run since the qualifiers we played last month, and we already lost like a couple of main players, but we still had a belief that this team can go on a winning side, and really proud the way the boys showed the character today after the start, which we had 4 wickets down, and the way Sushant and Gajanan Singh, they showed the character, and like they knew that if they stay there, they're going to give us a good total.
You scored 135 runs off the last 12 overs. It was an extraordinary blitzkrieg. What do you put it down to? How well did those boys bat in the middle order?
I think they really keep the things very simple. They took time, and then when the time came, they played their shots, and they selected the right bowlers. And here there's a lot of wind, so they targeted the right area, and they were successful enough. Yeah.
What about the bowling then? You seem to front load things and use your most experienced bowlers as much as possible early. Was that a particular tactic?
Yeah, definitely. It was very important that my main bowlers bowl against their main batsmen, and a couple of changes which I did, bringing in Saurabh when the batsman, I don't know the name right now, but he was trying to hit, and he was hitting really well, and he came in and gave me the breakthrough. So, I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but luckily it worked today.
I can't have you here and not ask you about Muhammad Ali Khan. His class, not just at the start, but the death in particular, completely different level, and it looked like you were always going to close that win out with his 2 overs left up your sleeve.
Yeah, we discussed before going in, like if I tell him to bowl 24 Yorkers, he can execute it. So I told him just go for it, and he did it. Like almost 95% of the balls he bowled with the Yorkers, he was successful enough to execute it. And like other bowlers have different strengths. So the plan was simple: focus on your strength and execute your strength. Don't make it much anything different, you know.
Final question, it's twofold. One, how big a win is this for American cricket? What does it mean for the future of the game here? And secondly, can you close out a series win tomorrow night under floodlights in front of what's going to be a huge crowd you'd have to expect here in Florida?
Definitely, we believe that we can win the 2-0, and it was very important for us to get a good start. And with this, we have really good confidence right now, and we are looking forward for tomorrow's game.
Manan, congratulations. Rest well tonight. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
That's Manan Patel, a very happy winning captain who's pulled off a quite brilliant win over Ireland here. But time for the player of the match decision for this Dafabet USA. For 30 for him, and also a first T20I 50 for Lorcan Tucker, who made 57. But the main candidate. But I'm going to call upon my player match presenter, that's Ajit Bhaskar of the USA Cricket Board, to come in to me to present the player of the match to standout batter of the innings. It's his second T20I 50, just the second time that he has batted. He hit 3 4s and 5 6s. He made 65 of 42 deliveries. It's Gajanan Singh. Many thanks to Ajit Bhaskar of the USA Cricket Board, who I've no doubt's a pretty happy man as well. Gajanan, we'll stay and have a chat. 16 for 4, you come to the crease, everything seems to be going wrong. How did you turn it around?
Firstly, going out there at 16 for 4, I took the score out of my mind. I just played every ball that I could and tried to give the team a chance by being there, batting deep into the innings and getting a partnership going.
You felt like your last chance in international colours and international cricket might be slipping away, but at the age of 33, now 34, you said you'd give it one more shot. How much does this mean to you today?
It means a lot. I have a huge support system coming from my wife, and mainly my daughter and my wife and my extended family as well. I have all the support I need, and this means a lot to me.
How well did the guys who batted with you bat, Sushant Madani and Marty Kane in particular? In fact, you weren't there when Marty Kane was there, but Sushant Madani in particular, that 100-run partnership?
Sushant is an excellent player as well. We just said, if we give ourselves a chance, we can score 10, 15 and over at the end. And luckily we took the chances we took were calculative, and it worked out on our end.
Finally, I'm not sure many pundits would have predicted this win, but you're 1-0 up in the series. Can you close it out and move 2-0 up and take the T20I trophy tomorrow night?
With continuing to play cricket like this, I think we have all chances. It's very, very good team effort today, especially our bowlers coming in after they had a good start. Must say well done to all the bowlers and everyone who took part. Even the management of our team, they've been doing an excellent job to get us out here every day training and playing. Just thank everyone who supported us as well. The fans, they've been awesome. And hopefully we can come and pull one more out tomorrow.
Gajanan, huge congratulations. Best of luck tomorrow evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Lenny.
That's Gajanan Singh, the player of the match, and that's going to wrap up our post-match presentation. It's been a quite brilliant day of cricket. We've seen well over 300 runs and a surprise victory for USA, who move 1-0 up in the series, and they could close out a first ever series win over a Test nation tomorrow night. If you're in the Florida area, get on down. Tickets from just $10 will be available both on usacricket.org and on the gate. You can come along and pay in cash. It's a 7 p.m. start tomorrow evening. That'll be midnight back in Ireland. Do come with us and join all the action. See if USA can close out a historic series win.